It's just truly Probably Pablo, Culture, Lord Productions.
Good morning, South Florida.
This is the Big O Show.
You're tuned into the Big
Doing well there. Welcome aboard. Coming to you live from the beautiful dealership that is Craig Zinn's Acura up Pembroke Pines. Are you all right? Because you're all in fluster there from the beginning there. You're all good?
I put off the YouTube.
Okay, there you go. All right, meters are in. He's in. Omar is first. He gets the prize. Yeah, that boy. Awesome job by O. O in for O. Nice job, O. He is in first. Hope you all are doing well there on a beautiful Friday. We started with a bang already on Friday. I got into it with an NFL player on Friday, which is always a beautiful thing. Asante Samuel he got a little mad at me because I went after him a little bit because he said something really, really stupid. So I had to call him out. It's one of those things. I've been doing this for a long time, man. This is my 30th year. I've covered every sport. I've covered all the biggest games, Super Bowl, World Series, Olympics, you name it. I've covered everything. I've been a beat guy. I've been around a lot of athletes. And I know a lot of athletes, and I know a lot of people in this business. And the one thing that I will tell you, and it happens a lot, there's a lot of athletes that they don't really know the history of their sport. And Asante Samuel, who is a hell of a player, by the way, okay? The guy a hell of a career, a hell of a player. He has everything to be proud of, being a terrific corner in this league for a long, long time. But listen, you got to have respect for your elders. You got to have respect for the people that came before. And more importantly, you got to understand your place. And while you're a hell of a player, you're not Daryl Green. And he, called Daryl like he's like some slot guy and all that. And in fact, it was Tony Dungy. Okay, and listen, forget me. All right, forget what I said. Tony Dungy's the one that's calling your ass out, and he played the position and coached the position, coached teams, won the Super Bowl, all of that. Okay, he should know. And you know what? I don't even want to make it about bashing Asante Samuel, the player, or anything like that, because that's wrong. See, I'm not going to do to Asante Samuel what he did to Daryl Green. You know what I'm saying? And to me, that's what stood out, is that you would take a shot at a guy that's way better than you. Daryl Green is one of the greatest corners of all time. And for Asante Samuel, first of all, he called him a slot corner, which he played on the boundary. And I think he pointed out, and his interception numbers aren't incredible. Well, that's because you don't pass the Daryl Green side. There are certain guys, they have their interceptions and they could have had more, but when you're Deion Sanders, you're not going to throw that way. That's just the way it is. Daryl Green played for 20 years, bro. I mean, that guy was running a 4.3 in his 40s. Probably can still do it right now. Daryl Green was one of the great, great corners in this league. And Asante Samuel, dude, you're awesome. You had a hell of a career. You will never be feared the way Daryl Green was feared. He's at that Ronnie Lott level. He's at that Deion Sanders level. There's only a couple of guys, since I'm 53, there's only a couple of guys, okay, that have that level of stature. And Daryl Green's right up there with all those guys. Asante Samuel, you're not, my man. You had a hell of a career. You're a hell of a player, probably the notch under. So to be taking a shot, and this is what happens to a lot of these current players. They don't really know the history of their game. A lot of them aren't even real big fans of the game they play. They play it because the Lord blessed them with the ability. That's the way they can make money, and they make money. And hey, bless them for that. It's awesome. But I've met tons of players that they wouldn't know the history of the game. And Asante Samuel, he might be educating himself now at an older age, but he's still way far from, he's still in junior high when it comes to football. Look, he can run circles around me and every other media member when it comes to X's and O's and all of that. But when it comes to the history of the game, there's a lot of players like Asante Samuel who are freaking ignorant. And they don't know what the hell they're talking about. And when you take a shot at Daryl Green, brother, you better be Deion Sanders. You better be Ronnie Lott. You better be Rod Woodson. Do you understand what I'm saying? Asante Samuel, your name is not at that level. Okay? Listen, you can create whatever narrative you want in your own mind, my man. All right? Hell of a player. You're not one of the elite guys in the history of this game. I don't care what stats say. I don't care about this softer side of the NFL that you played on. Okay? Because stats don't mean anything. Drew Brees can keep throwing for 50,000 yards. He's not Dan Marino and never will be. Hell of a player. Great quarterback. I'll take Marino over him every day of the week and twice on Sundays. That's just the way it is. You know what I mean? There's a certain level of play. And, I sent him a direct tweet because, I haven't been on the beat in a long time. And, when I was on the beat, I was able to ask players and coaches and GMs, right in their face, hey, tough questions, right? So I haven't been able to do that a lot. And so I saw it and I had to tweet it out to him. I had to kind of put it, because I know most people in the media aren't going to have the balls to actually send him a message and tell him where he stands. And I had to do it because he needs to hear it. He heard it from Tony Dungy, but he needs to hear that you're sounding disrespectful and ignorant. And have respect for players that are better than you. Understand that, Asante. Daryl Green is better than you. Okay? Better. Okay? They're not ever going to fear you on offense like they feared Daryl Green. So I put, as a reporter, I've constantly ran into players that don't know squat about the history of their own sport. At pick_622, that's his Twitter handle. Assessment of Daryl Green proves my point. You have to be freaking clueless to take shots at Daryl Green. Which then he answers to me. He says, I know the history of the game, and who had outstanding years as a cornerback. You don't know shit. You're just a media guy looking for attention. I ask for facts, not anyone's opinion. I ain't taking shots at nobody, y'all. Too dumb to understand that. Show me his best year history, man. See, that's the problem with you. You're looking at stats, and that's the problem with a lot of young people now. You're tied to the metrics, and the stats don't answer all the questions, Asante. You got to watch the games, but I'm sorry, you're too young to watch the games. You didn't see Daryl Green. That's why you can't talk about it. That's the problem, Asante. See, you can't actually talk about something that you never witnessed. And if you just look at a book and look at the stats, it doesn't tell you the whole story. Okay? If you look at the stats for Gale Sayers, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. If you look at the stats for Terrell Davis, he doesn't belong in the Hall of Fame. But you have to know what the players were. And so that's why they get in. Joe Namath does not deserve to go in on stats alone because his stats are not that impressive. But there's more to Joe's story and why he's in the Hall of Fame. Now, as for Daryl Green's greatness was proven every single year that he played. And it's not about stats, because if they don't test you, you're not going to get the stats. And Daryl Green's the guy that you didn't want to throw to. You know, again, you gotta stop with the stat thing. And that's the problem with Asante. That's the problem with a lot of young reporters nowadays, a lot of young writers. They go to the stats and they think the stats are going to tell you the entire story. And they're not. And they never will tell you the entire story. You know? So after he says that, I said, your continued ignorance is sad. Learn the game, young man. It didn't start with you. Daryl Green runs circles around you. Okay? And he hasn't answered back, and I don't care if he does or he doesn't. I don't need the attention. I don't really care. But I got my message across. That's all that matters to me. You know? So maybe it puts a little... I doubt it. I doubt it. It sounds like he's closed-minded and he's locked into stats. Like if they show you that, you got to watch the player, man. You got to watch the player. And again, I'm not taking anything away from Asante Samuel. Hell of a player, man. Hell of a player. Had a great career. Not an elite guy like Daryl Green. He's not in that company. Okay? He's the notch under, but he's not in that company. And I would do the same thing for Asante Samuel if Bobby McCain came out after a couple of years in the league and said, Asante isn't nothing. I'm just as good. I would then straighten out Bobby McCain and say, yo, you haven't played long enough to be compared to Asante Samuel. I would do the same thing. And what I'm doing to Asante Samuel, you know, it's like me saying, yeah, you know, Bob Costas, he's a mediocre broadcaster. You know, it's like, what the hell are you talking about, oh? You know, what are you, stupid? And I would be stupid if I said something like that. Because Bob Costas, we know, is one of the greatest of all time. You know, it's the same thing. Man, learn your history. And if you want to pick on somebody that's comparable at your level. If you wanted to argue about you and Ty Law, okay, go ahead. I still might take Ty Law, by the way. Okay? But whatever. But at least we have a discussion between those two. There is no discussion when we're talking about the Daryl Greens of the world. Okay? Asante, great career. You're not at that level, dude. You're not with the Ronnie Lotts. You're not with the Daryl Greens. You're not with the Rod Woodsons. You're not with those kind of guys. You're just not. There's a special group that we see over time, and you're not at that level. I don't care what your stats you think say, the stats don't tell you the whole story. That's all I'm saying. So
I remember when he retired, it was like the guy could play for another year, maybe two.
yes.
Okay?
Yeah.
And being a Bear fan firsthand, I can tell you the 87 team, it's 1988 playoffs, January. He had torn cartilage in his rib. In case you don't know, if you have torn cartilage, it feels worse than breaking or cracking a rib.
It's
okay?
hard to breathe.
Yes.
It's hard to breathe.
Torn cartilage is worse than cracking or breaking a rib. The guy didn't really return punts. He goes back to return a punt. What does he do? 85 yards for a touchdown. And the whole time he's running, go look at the play, you could see him favoring it, that area of his ribs, running 85 yards for a touchdown. And just, hey, I'm doing it for the team. The guy was amazing, man.
Anybody that watched Daryl Green's career, which I did, and Asante Samuel, you would say, well, two exceptional players, but Daryl Green's way better. Daryl Green's one of the greatest of all time. You know, it's pretty simple. It's not really that hard. But Asante Samuel can't say that because he's not old enough to have watched Daryl Green's career. So if you just want to look at some books and some stats, you know, that's where you fall short. I tell you guys this all the time. There aren't a lot of positives about growing old. Your body breaks down, you look older, white hair grows in places you never thought could grow hair, arthritis, tendonitis, you clog your arteries, all of that. There's only very few positives of getting old. One of them is experience and perspective. And you can't argue with that. It's impossible to argue with somebody that has experience and has lived through it. That's why our parents constantly tell us when we're growing up as kids, don't do this. And then we as kids are morons and we go opposite of their advice and we get burned almost every single time. And then your old man and your old lady's telling you, what did I tell you? Didn't I tell you not to do this? And why do they tell you that? Because they probably did it before. Because they've made that mistake. And they're trying to help you not make that mistake from experience. You know what I mean? Anybody that's got kids nowadays, your kids will tell you stuff and you will just smile at them. There are times that I hear stuff and I just smile like you have no idea what you're talking about. You just not have lived life yet. Wait till you see, you know, what real life is all about. You know, it's just one of those things, you know, and unfortunately, I know that playing the old man card is not, it's not the most popular thing at times. Some people look at it like, oh my God, there they go again. But it's almost impossible to replace experience, man. And if you think, you know, if you're 25 or 35 years old and you're looking at a stats book and you think from that stats book you can tell me about Daryl Green more than I can tell you about Daryl Green, then I'm done with the conversation. I'm done with it because I watched Daryl Green play the game. I watched him in key moments. I watched him make big plays constantly, over and over and over again. We were always marveled at what Daryl Green was doing because it's Daryl Green. Put it this way, Asante Samuel. Daryl Green retired how long ago? Can you figure that out, how long it's been? It's probably been about, I want to say at least 20 years. At least. It's got to be somewhere in the 90s where he retired. And his legend is still there. 20 years from now, we're not going to be talking about Asante Samuel. We'll still be talking about Daryl Green. Okay? In 2 years, you won't talk about the Migos. 50 years, and the Beatles right now are the most downloaded songs in the last 6 months for rock bands. You think the Migos will be heard 50 years from now like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones? They're going to forget their asses faster than anything else because that's what they do in this society. Katy Perry will be a thing forgotten 10 years from now.
The only thing that you'll have to remember her is maybe the Super Bowl halftime, right?
Yeah, that's about it.
2002, last season for Daryl. It's 2002, 18 years.
2002, look at that, almost 20 years, 18 years. I'm telling you, man. I mean, anybody that would take a shot at Daryl Green, I'm just saying, you got to be Rod Woodson to do it. You got to be Deion Sanders. You have to be at that level if you think you can take. Even those guys won't take a shot at Daryl Green. Okay? Because Deion Sanders probably looked at Daryl Green and said, that's what I want to be. Okay? And just ask Deion Sanders how good Daryl Green is, and he'll tell you. But Deion Sanders is old enough to have seen Daryl Green. Asante Samuel probably saw the last years of his career, and he thinks he knows him. It's like, you know, it's like the 30-year-old, 35-year-old that walks around and says, yeah, I saw a couple years of Marino. Yeah, no, dude, you saw the end of Marino with Jimmy and his arm was falling off, and that's not Marino. You didn't see Marino, bro. It's the same thing. Same thing. It's just funny, man. Just learn the history. That's all. That's what I would tell a lot of current players too. And see, here's the other thing. Most of you, and I know myself, we're bigger fans of the game. We appreciate the game more than I would say half the players in the NFL at least. At least. I might be short on that. Okay? Half the players in the NFL don't know anything about the history of the game. They don't really care about the game. They don't really follow the game. It's a casual thing. They're just talented enough to play it, and that's where they can make money, and that's why they do it. But it's not because they're true students of the game. They're true historians, not students, I'm sorry, because they have to be students of their positions and stuff like that. But they're not true historians of the game. And Asante Samuel proves it in his tweet that he's not, you know, when he talks, I know the history. No, you don't, dude. You don't know squat, Asante. When you say, listen, and we all say stupid things. Remember what I was telling you 2 days ago about the Derrick Henry thing that I was off? I got sideswiped there. I was like, I lost touch of reality. There's no way that guy's going to get 15 plus or 20 or anything like that. He's a running back. That was stupid on my part. But at least I'm smart enough to look in the mirror and go, what the hell was I saying there? You know what? I'm wrong there. Because you know what? We're always going to be wrong. And what would be better right now, Asante Samuel, is you just say, I'm wrong. You know, now that I think about it, now that Tony Dungy called me out, okay, and Tony was being nice. I think behind the scenes, Tony would tell you, Asante, you need to slow your roll. He may not tell you that you're clueless like I would, okay? He may not tell you that you got an ignorant point of view like I would, but he'll be in a nice way tell you, dude, this is a bad look for you. You might want to stay away from it, okay? Let's hear from Daryl Green.
Tony's a classy guy. He has no, that guy is so just awesome. You know?
Unlike me, I'm not classy. I'm just brutally honest. So let's hear from Daryl Green on his response.
Well, let me say this: if Asante Samuels walked up right now, I wouldn't know his face, and that's not a blight against him. I just don't know him. But here's the deal: he said he didn't know me either. So why would I be mad that he don't know me if I said I don't know him? So truthfully, I don't think I've ever met him. I don't know his face if he walked up, and maybe he don't know mine and he don't know my stats. So I appreciate Tony Dungy, just a class act of class acts, for responding to that. But there was no need for Tony Dungy to respond to that. For me, I wouldn't respond to it. There's enough information if he really wanted to know that he could have found. But I'm not mad at him at all. If I've heard all kind of stuff from people about he want to be in the Hall of Fame. I hope he gets in the Hall of Fame. But I will say this: you don't have to try to step on somebody else.
Amen.
To try to get yours. It's the same thing we just been talking about. But so I've got no ills about for him. And what he's talking about is stuff I've done now almost 20 years ago. I've been in the Hall of Fame 13, I think. So I mean, it's no big deal. I mean, yeah, it's no big deal to me.
Shouldn't. It shouldn't be. I mean, Daryl Green, dude. Are you kidding me, bro? I mean, Daryl Green. That is that
if
guy,
you have the Mount Rushmore of cornerbacks, that guy's in there.
He's probably there.
I'm sitting here thinking about it. It's for 20 years to play like he did. And for us, even when he walked away, you remember, it was like, I can't believe he's actually retiring.
I can guarantee you something.
What's that?
Asante Samuel won't be on that Mount Rushmore
No,
ever.
no. And
Ever.
Look, and not to take anything away from Asante.
Again,
the guy is a great player.
Great career.
He may be in the top 20, top 20, top 15.
I don't even know about 15 yet, but, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe.
He is a good, but he's not Daryl Green.
No.
Because you're talking, when you do that, you're talking about the lots of the world.
Right. What
The Deons. It's exact. Literally, that's the company you're talking about.
Yeah.
Sorry.
You're talking about the elite of the elite.
Yes, when you have the greats,
right?
There's guys that come that are the great of the greats.
Right.
He's that guy.
Right. He's the Michael Jordan-like corner. Him, Dion, those kind of guys. Those were freaks of all freaks, man. You know what I mean? So Asante Samuel, you look like a nice guy, but boy, you are completely freaking lost when it comes to the history of the game. You need to learn a lot more, my brother. You need to watch the game and watch the history of Well, you probably can't anymore because you would have to literally go through all the games, and I don't know if you can find them. You know what I mean? I don't know if you have an archive of it, but that's the problem with being younger. If you didn't live the experience, you don't know it, and then you end up saying stupid things like that. So, bottom line, Asante, you got a lot to learn, my man. A lot to learn, and you're not Daryl Green, and never will be. Never will be. Don't compare yourself to him. It's insulting, and it's embarrassing. All right, 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line.
You got to correct the mistake. Yes, Derrick Henry, blah, whatever.
Yeah.
Actually, when I said that the girl from Fletch was in Modern Problems, very similar, but I was incorrect. Dana Wheeler Nicholson is the one in Fletch. She actually is the wife of Doc Holliday in Tombstone.
Oh,
that's
okay.
probably her biggest. She's been in a bunch of nothing movies, okay?
Okay.
But it's Darby, the girl from Modern. They're not the same person. Dana Wheeler, but she was Doc Holliday's wife.
Okay.
In Tombstone. That's probably second most famous.
All right. There you go.
Little correction,
All right. NorCal says, my dad is at home trying to download Kenny Rogers right now. LOL. All right, dude. Yeah, you got to know when to hold them.
The thing that would be the best is
know
if you
when to fold them.
If you were able to.
Know when to walk away.
If you could somehow Uber food Kenny Rogers chicken.
Yeah. Oh.
If you could get a delivery.
Yeah. It's the wood that makes it good. I love Kenny Rogers chicken. I hate it when that thing folded. I love Kenny Rogers chicken.
Does that make sense? As good as that, all the sides, that it folded. I still don't get it.
Robert Triana first in the house with a little love on Super Chat. Thank you, Robert. Appreciate you, my brother, as always, chiming in and keeping us locked. Let's see. Let's do a little roll call here. Omar was first. He's consistent, baby. You got to love Omar. Mark McIntyre, NorCal, Bromar Smelly, Robert Triana, of course, Matthew Walker, James Roman. Let's see. He's working in Tampico, Mexico. Oh, all right. Be safe. That's all we say. Wherever you're at, be safe. Marta is in the house. Super Boom Shack. DJ Gallagher, Troy Ortiz, Pat in Asheville. Bob Costas was born with a mic in his hand. He he has ever stumbled over his words. No, he doesn't stumble. He's just amazing. Guy's awesome. Alex Diaz says, oh, I know the other day you had a Dak segment. I was having a convo with my buddy, and he is very critical of Dak, calling him trash and putting Roethlisberger and Stafford and Jackson over him. Well, Roethlisberger is definitely over him. He's got 2 championships. Stafford I would not put over him because Stafford also has not proven anything either over a length of time. And he's had a much longer career than Dak. And Jackson has to prove he can pass, first of all. Tremolio is in the house. Flipside Fishing says Green ran a 4.43 when he was 50 years old. That's right. Dean G is in. These are some of the folks on the chat board already here this morning, which is always a beautiful thing. Ermang is also in the house. Josh also. Asante Samuel. Who? The guy sucks. And Ramona is in. She says, I have heard a back and forth about Dalvin Cook trade to the Fins. Is it going to happen? Ramona, you come in with these like far left field questions. You know what I mean? It's like they just signed a running back in free agency and they traded for one, Ramona. You do the math. I mean, come on. You know what I mean? You're obviously reading people that have too much time on their hands. Maybe they should get laid. Whoever is reporting that, Ramona, maybe you should unfollow the people that are talking about that because they're really stupid. You know what I mean? If you want brutal honesty, Ramona, you come here. If you want to dance around the fluff, then I guess you follow those idiots that are, posting stuff about, Dalvin Cook after they just traded for one running back and signed another in free agency. I think they made their bet already at the running back spot. So they're going to – so let's get this straight. Whoever you're getting this from, Ramona, think about this. They're talking about a team that signed a guy in free agency, traded for another one, okay? Not only that, all right? Then they would have to trade for Dalvin Cook, give up picks, and give him a big salary, and he's injury prone. Just, Ramona,
every single thing says don't do it.
right. Let that all marinate in your mind and realize how incredibly stupid that sounds. Okay? And Ramona, I am being as nice as I can about this. This is as nice as I get about this. So whoever you're listening to, please tell them on my behalf they're a bunch of freaking morons. Okay? So now you'll get it. But, it's like, just do the math. The math of common sense. That's all. We really lack that in this world. I don't want to wear a mask. I want to spread corona. And then there goes all the cases up. And then they want to go to work and they want businesses open and they don't want to wear their mask. How does that help? Ramona, the same people telling you that must be the Brazilian president who announces he has corona by taking off his mask.
Yesterday you said, let me change. It's kind of funny. I was thinking about this because you said, Dak and Tad. And I thought about it. I'm like, a tad of a Dak.
Right.
His parents weren't that happy because they only had a tad of a Dak, not a full one.
That's probably what it is. Yep. She goes, I want brutal honesty from one Dolphin to the next. Well, you're going to get it here, Ramona. Trust me. It makes no sense. It's the dumbest thing in the world. I would rip the Dolphins for trading for Dalvin Cook. Okay? I know he's a hell of a player when he's healthy. That's the problem. So you're going to trade for a guy? It's a sack of injuries? No, you don't do that. Let's see. Champ Bailey was good. Mike Haynes, Mel Blunt. Champ Bailey, Asante Samuel. Champ Bailey. Woo! Okay. Ramona, go check out Finn's fan panel. Why, do they say more stupid things there? No trading for Dalvin Cook. Too expensive. And too injury prone. I love the kid, but he's broken down every time. Why would you trade for that guy? Hale, can we get Larry Zonka to come out of retirement? Tommy and Hialeah.
No, he doesn't want to leave Alaska. He's fishing, having fun.
Bromar, I'm not ripping Ramona. Ramona brought something up she heard from somewhere else. I'm ripping the idiots, and I'm advising Ramona not to listen to idiots anymore. That's all. Okay? But I have to explain to her why it makes no sense. Like I would do with anybody. Male or female, you guys know that. I don't hold back at all. Whether you're Asante Samuel, whether you're, what is the guy's name, Manny Machine from yesterday? What were the name of the two trolls that we eliminated a couple months ago? I don't screw around. You know what I mean? It's just, that's the way I am. It's going to rub people wrong some ways, but in the end, you're going to realize, you're going to go, hey, he was just being honest. I just couldn't handle the honesty. That's all. We're all going to make mistakes. We're all going to screw up. Let's just address them when we do, and just admit it and move on. And let's try not to make it happen again. Ramona says, that's why I feel like when you speak about the Dolphins, you really make me feel like something's coming. Like, watch out. The Dolphins are going to be badasses for years to come. Yeah, they are. That's why, Ramona, look at what they're doing. They traded for Matt Breida as a steal for a 5th-round pick. A guy that's got 4.3 speed out of the backfield. Then, and then you don't pound the crap out of Matt Breida because he's not that back. So you bring Howard in. So when there's a 3rd and 1, a 3rd and 2, a 4th and 1, a 4th and goal, a 3rd and goal, guess who's going to get the ball and guess who's going to hammer that line? Howard. Yeah, there's a method behind everything that they're doing. And they didn't spend a lot of money on Howard, and they didn't spend a high draft pick on Breida. And they don't spend a lot of money on Devontae Parker, and that's just the way things are now. They're not going to do things where they're overpaying for people and they're giving away draft picks. And you know what? How many times do I say this, Ramona? If you listen enough, how many times do I say this? We have to unprogram people from stupid things because the Dolphins were stupid for 20, 25 years. So, 5 years ago, Mike Tannenbaum does trade for that guy after signing Howard and after getting Breida. He would have done stuff like that because that's the stupid things that the Dolphins used to do. They don't do those things anymore. They draft Noah knowing that if X gets out of line again, they're going to groom the guy next to take over, and they got Byron Jones because they said, hey, we don't have great quarterbacks in our division. Let's make it impossible for them to pass. Let's force them to run, and now let's go improve our run defense. That's exactly what they did. Because their secondary, they're going to try to make everybody in their division one-dimensional. That way it's a lot easier to defend. I mean, there's all kinds of intelligence going on in the way they are Man, I mean, just all I did was rip them for stupid things for 20 years because that's what they were doing constantly. Stupid things for 20 years. And this is why I'm telling you that a Dalvin Cook move would be a stupid move. It would make no sense whatsoever. Did I take a break yet?
No. And exactly what you're talking about. I used to love that formula when we had Surtain and Madison. When you got lockdown corners,
oh God,
they could play on an island. That frees up 8 guys. So if you're a little weak, your safeties can stay in the middle and help the run. That's because you don't have to worry about your corner with double coverage. That guy's got that guy.
Right.
It frees up people on the field.
Yep. Big O, no word on where Logan Ryan or Larry Walford have signed. No, they have not. Devonta Freeman. There's still some pretty good free agents that are available out there that could be had. Not that I want Devonta Freeman. I'm just saying. I'm just throwing out another name out there that I know is available in free agency. But no, nothing yet with those guys, unfortunately.
Would you say the reason there's so many...
And that's a good thing, too, by the way, because if they're interested in Ryan or Warford, the Warford one, I don't think they're going to make at all because I think they got to wait till they get their linemen on the field and practicing if they ever get to that point, and then they see what they have, and if they're not happy with it, then they go get Larry Warford. The Logan Ryan one, I know he wants like $10 million a year. Maybe they don't want to pay that kind of money. So again, the Dolphins aren't. It's a different Dolphin team, man. It's a different. They're rebuilding, so they're not in the. They don't have to kill themselves to add pieces because this is the year. It's not the year. It's a rebuild. You know what I mean? So patience.
Oh, would you say?
But no word on those guys yet.
Would you say the reason that there are so many quality free agents out there still? There's been no camp. You haven't gotten to see the guys, and we haven't had the injuries where, you know what, we need to go get that guy, right?
With COVID, there is no injuries.
Yeah,
right?
exactly. So that's why they're still – because I can't remember a year that, like, the quality of players that are out there.
Yeah.
Man, if you had a decent offensive lineman, they would be somewhere already, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And we're talking all pros that are sitting out there.
Yep. NorCal says if Tannenbaum was still in Miami, Tannenbaum and Sue would still be getting paychecks from Miami, even though they're not here. You're right. Yeah. Big O, the Breida trade came from the 5th round acquired in Aqib Talib trade for cash. Greer's a genius. Dude, Greer, I've been saying it for a while now. We're headed in the right direction. We got a real GM, man. We got a real GM. We got guys like Reggie McKenzie and Marvin Allen next to him. I keep telling. I know it's hard. Look, I get people will laugh at me from the outside and the periphery, and even some Dolphin fans that have been suffering for 10, 15, 20 years now. When I tell them that the Dolphins are headed, I mean, absolutely in the right direction. They're going to be an ass-kicking team. And then they really laugh at me when I say this is going to be one of the best front offices in the NFL. But I'm just looking at what's happened in the last year, and it's been genius. The way they have torn this thing down and the way they're turning it around, and they're turning it around even faster than I thought they would. I don't know what happens this year. This year might be shot because of COVID, but all I know is that our team is headed in the right direction. And that's all I give a crap about. Because I've been just so frustrated for the last 20 years that all they've done is screw things up. And they're not even close to that now. Okay? Oh my God, I'm 32, and for the past 15 years, all I saw was stupidity. I was always waiting for the day that the Dolphins would get their stuff together, and I'm excited. You should be. All right? So, and you got DFS Hobby. Greer isn't a genius. He's lost more than he gained. If Tua fails, Greer's done here in Miami. Well, what's he lost, bro? What's he lost? I'm trying to figure that out. I'm not sure what he's lost. He's gained a lot. He loaded the team up this year with a draft. He did it in free agency, and he's got a ton of picks next year. And if whether Tua fails or not, everything that they're doing now is better than anything in the past. You go Rosen, you go Tua, you go get the next one. That they never did that before. And you just keep you're going to fail with quarterbacks. You're not going to hit every single time. Okay? So I love the fact that they're continuing to go after a quarterback. And when you got 14 picks, using one on Tua, as long as the rest of the draft is good, the Tua thing becomes the bonus. That's really the way you look at it. But again, DFS Hobby is one of those jaded fans that thinks that it's all terrible still, and it's going to be terrible, and he's waiting for terrible to happen, and he's waiting for the next shoe to fall. He's been jaded that way, and I get it. I have friends that are just like DFS Hobby, that they just don't believe it. They think that the Dolphins are destined to be terrible every year, no matter what. So they don't give themselves the slight opportunity of actually enjoying what's going on. But that's fine. Oh, what's going on in D.C.? Do you think Snyder should be forced to sell the team? I hope so, but they've got this whole bogus thing where the NFL is going off of Washington's internal investigation, which is that just, wow. You know? A DFS Hobby goes, you just can't look in the last year, Big O. Oh, I can't? Why? Because Greer's only been in charge the last year of everything. I'm not sure what you're talking about. He's been fully in charge in the last year. He only had influence in the draft the prior years. That's it. And he still did a pretty good job overall, considering he had Tannenbaum and Gase above him. But again, man, if you don't want to be, objective, that's fine. I've been a Dolphin fan for a long time, early 70s. I truly believe we're on the right path. We have a plan and foresight. Damn right. Damn right. But I doubt they'll get rid of, back to you, Troy, I doubt they will get rid of Dan Snyder. It doesn't look like that. The way people are explaining it, if they're going to if the NFL is going to go off of Washington's internal investigation, put it this way. Mark Cuban had the same issue. There was all kinds of sexual harassment and all that in his business, and he got reprimanded by the NBA and fined. But it wasn't Mark Cuban. But because it was his environment, he got fined for it and everything else that came with it. I think they can't force Snyder out because if you read the Washington Post story, there's no allegations against Snyder. Now, the women feel that Snyder knew that environment existed, and you got to feel that Mark Cuban and Dan Snyder, as hands-on as they are, they've got to know something, and they must have had some kind of a chauvinistic approach to it. Okay?
The way it sounds, the closest thing that touches Snyder is that his inner circle were some of the people doing it, but not him directly, and then their lack of human resource department to handle such a situation, to address it when these complaints were brought forth. Mm-hmm. That is the main indictment right now. And like you said, there is distance from Snyder. It's just his inner circle and not setting up a human resource department to address these complaints.
Right.
That's it.
Right, because he's in charge of everything. He doesn't care. He's just like, oh, no, I'll make that decision.
As usual, the guy sitting in the lofty perch doesn't know what's going, truly what's going on the ground floor. They're removed.
Big O, DFS Hobby chimes in on a super chat. Unfortunately, DFS Hobby, you actually chime in with bad information. Okay? You go, Big O, full control, January 4, 2016, Greer's team since. You're wrong. That's inaccurate. He was only in charge of the draft. That's it. He wasn't in charge of any trades. He wasn't in charge of free agency. So that's where you're wrong. The only thing he was in charge of was the draft the last 4 years. Okay? That's it. That's all. And if you look at the draft over the last 4 years, it's better than all the drafts that have happened prior. You have to go back to Jimmy Johnson to top it. Okay? That's it. His drafts, finding X in the second round, and I think 3 of his 4 first-round picks have been good picks, because Charles Harris obviously is not. But I think Wilkins is going to turn into a hell of a player. He obviously made a right pick in Tunsil and turned that into 3 picks, and Minka was also a heck of a player. So he picked those players. Those are his picks. So they worked out pretty well. And he's hit on other picks in those 4 years. So, but again, you can create whatever narrative you want, DFS Holiday. He has not been totally in charge. You're wrong. Only the draft is the only thing that they gave him. And I still think he wasn't in charge of all the picks. There's some stories behind the scenes on some of the picks. But the draft was the only thing. Never, ever free agency. Never, ever trades. That was all Gase, and that was all Tannenbaum the entire time. Let's see.
Just to give you an idea of where you're at, you have met our 45-minute requirement, at least one segment.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're cruising into 50 minutes.
Yeah. So it's not bad to start off the show at 50 minutes of straight talk.
No live sports other than the soccer, right? And you did it.
Yeah, and by the way, last night, I doubt you watched it, but the Toronto-Montreal game that Toronto won 4-3, that thing was entertaining as hell, dude. That was fun. I've had a blast watching soccer all day, watching soccer every day. Yesterday, Cincinnati beat Atlanta 1-0 off of Amaya's goal. And then Akinola put on a show yesterday for Toronto with a hat trick. And the passing in that game from Montreal and from Toronto, wow. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, the vision was absolutely fantastic. That was a lot of fun last night. I was up late because I watched Columbus also beat the Red Bulls. And so that was fun, man.
The youngster, I think they said that he's the first post-20 birth child to have a hat trick in the MLS.
Oh, Akinola?
Yes.
Yeah, dude. And
impressive.
The first goal that went all the way across the box. What vision, dude. I'm just telling you that last night there were some passes in that game that you were like, wow, that's impressive right there, to anticipate where somebody's going to be and lay the ball out so perfectly. It's just a thing of beauty sometimes. And I've had a lot of fun, man. Having the MLS back and the way it's going, because you're constantly having games, it's a lot of fun. Ray Grulon chiming in on a little super chat. Ray says, thank you, Big O, for another great week. I appreciate you, Ray. I know on behalf of Bill and Philippe, we thank you also, bro, as always, for keeping it locked here and supporting us in a big-time way. Always appreciate it, man, that you guys are always keeping it locked here on our program. All right.
Talking about the MLS for a second, like having watched some, obviously, because of us having a dog in the fight, seeing some of the passes, some of the scoring, some of the shots, I have to say, I don't remember the MLS 10 years ago, back a decade, being like this. These players, the number of them that like are doing stuff that you're like, wow. You would expect it from Premier and Bundes and, the other upper echelon leagues, right?
Mm-hmm. Well, look, man, it's a better league than it was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. Back, 10, 20 years ago, it was loaded with old people. And then the old guys that you would get that were pretty good players back in their day, they're already like really at the end of their like careers. They got like very little. They're dragging that can out to the field. Okay, that's it's just that,
and you can see it. It's about name. We got a name, and that, but not
now.
Play.
You're seeing an investment in young guys, and there are young guys all over the league that they're trying to develop and keep, and maybe they develop into really good players, and if they can't keep them, then they can sell them for a lot of money to Europe or whatever. Akinola is an example of what you saw last night, a young guy that they're investing in, and that's happening a lot in the MLS. And it's a different league. They have more money now, and they're making money now. It's a money-making league now. It's not printing money like the NFL or anything. Nobody prints money like the NFL. But the model that people thought, it would never work 10, 20 years ago, well, you're dead wrong now. It works. They're making money. They're packing stadiums all over the place. I mean, give me a break, dude. It's a different league. You got more money coming in, and it's getting better and better and better.
Back in the day,
and you add owners like Jorge Mas,
yeah,
they're gonna demand more, and they're gonna want to take this league to a higher level.
Back in the day, in the course of a day of games, you might see one incredible play. Now, every game has a couple.
Yeah, man.
Every game. It is definitely the play. Man, they got some skilled players.
Obviously, we're not Europe, but we're getting better, and it's way more entertaining than it's been in the past, man. It's not even close. It's a different league, man. It's a fun league, man. Thomas Cook is in the house. He says, "Hello, Big O." Thomas and Ray OKC, love you. Thank you out there, Thomas. Appreciate you, man. Let's see. Just because it's on the website doesn't mean it's the whole story. They aren't going to mention everything behind the scenes. Okay. I guess they're going back and forth with DFS there. I have not liked these two games from Inter. I hope the coach was an attacking style, but they play a saggy pass the ball in the defensive zone backfield scared style. They need to sprint forward. The problem is, Tremolio, we can't jump on Coach Alonso because he just got the team, dude. They played 2 games 4 months ago, and now they've played 2 games. And they haven't even been completely healthy yet. This past game was the first time they had all their playmakers on the pitch. And they don't have the chemistry yet. They haven't played. If this is a team that's been playing for a couple of years, then I get it. But if you watch enough soccer, you got to know, if you're going to throw a bunch of guys together, they're not going to have any chemistry. It's going to take them a while to figure things out and know how each guy plays, know their speeds, know how one guy's faster than the other, so I've got to put a little bit more on this pass, whatever it is. In fact, what I saw last night from Toronto and Montreal, they can do the things you're talking about, Tremolio, because they've been playing for a while together. There's chemistry. They played together last year and the year before. So you make some changes on your team, but you don't change your entire team. You only add a couple of pieces here or there. So it's not a major change, and you can adjust to that. When you bring 11 guys together that have never played together, and you haven't had the same 11 yet, and you've only played 4 games in your existence 4 months apart, I got to stay realistic here. And I got to give the man some time. They still have 2 international spots that they haven't filled yet, so they're looking for 2 very, I don't know if, there's some names out there, but if some of those names come, that will make a major difference here on this team, but they still have to improve their chemistry. And the only way you improve chemistry is by playing together. And let me tell you something. They lose on Tuesday and they can't advance. On Monday, and they can't advance. Then now they got to sit for a couple of weeks till next month to start again. So that takes away from their preparation time, and that'll be another minor setback for them. All of these little things are important, but to expect chemistry, to expect impactful play, and Philadelphia, by the way, was the 3rd best team in the East last year. So you weren't playing some slouch. You were playing a pretty good team. I would love to be grouped up with Columbus. Now, that would help out, but we're facing, some teams that are a little better than those, than Columbus. I'm just slow down a little bit. Give it some time. It's way too early right now to say anything about their style, the play, the whatever. It's just there's not enough time. It just isn't. By the way, we're out here at Craig Zinn's, Acura Pembroke Pines. We've been out here for 10 years now. This is our 10th year that we've been out here, proudly sponsored by the amazing people at Craig Zinn's, Acura Pembroke Pines. And as you know, I would never tell you to buy or lease a vehicle where we wouldn't do it ourselves. I've driven an Acura. My wife drives an RDX. My daughter drives an RDX. And right now you can get the RDX 2020 models for $289. The MDX $319, the TLX $239, the ILX $199, only $29.99. Do it siding plus tax tag and registration, folks. So come on out here, see Larry Schlossberg and the boys, and they will take care of you. If you own or lease an Acura, come on out and see Mike Chan and Jordan Ferber. They are in charge. They are large and in charge and taking care of you at 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines. Finest Acura dealership in the business. It is Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
My man Richard McClain chimes in and says, Dolphins should have waited for 2021 to draft Trevor Lawrence, Justin Fields, or Trey Lance. Available, drafting Tua irresponsible. So let me ask you, Richard, they won 5 games with no talent. They just added a draft class of 13 players and also street free agents, which, you know, they found Preston Williams. I'm not going to put it above them that they don't find another guy or two there in street free agency that can help out. So how do you expect them to have the top picks in the draft? Richard, let me ask you something, brother. Do you think they play fantasy football or do they play reality football in the NFL? I'm just saying. Now he'll come back with, well, you know, they can trade their entire draft to move up for a guy. Sure, they could do that. Is that really what you want to do? You know, it's just like, I love how people, they pull crap out of their ass that makes no sense whatsoever, and then they just throw it out there like this statement that it's actually reality. Yep. You know what, Bill? I shouldn't have come to work today. I should have gone over to the gas station instead and bought a lottery ticket because I know that if I would have bought it at 10:30, tomorrow's numbers would be the numbers I picked. So I'm wasting my time here because I easily could have won the lottery.
Well, if you got it like that, share those 6 numbers, my brother.
Well, no, apparently Richard's got it like that because, you know, he's for sure that they can actually not trade Tua and that with the entire draft and free agency that they just added, they're going to have a top 5 pick to get the quarterbacks.
Maybe he's a Monopoly player. I understand they got the Monopoly scratch-offs now with the Florida lottery, you know.
All right, let me
do that.
let me piss off my man NorCal at the moment. Maybe Richard McLean is smoking just bad weed. I know, NorCal, you're saying, hey, yeah, I'm not that pissed because I smoke really good weed. And you're probably right. But Richard's smoking some bad stuff. You got to admit, right? It's oregano. It's something. I mean, Richard is like way off. Like, no, let's just wait for next year. Trevor Lawrence, he'll fall in our laps. Yeah. Fans. Gotta love it, man.
No hydroponic in his game.
Yeah. Richard, my brother, put it down. You've toked way too much this morning. That's all I'm saying. You have toked way too much this morning. Or you're smoking the seeds and the branches, which, by the way, I think you're supposed to pick those things out. Okay? You could go to VSS West Pines and get yourself a grinder. Okay? Do a little Judas Priest. Grinder. Anyway. All right. 786-322-1105. Yeah, let's just hang out next year and, the golden child will fall in our laps. Now, how about this, Richard? Are you ready? COVID runs rampant in our country. It makes us all shut down. We have no football season, but they still have to have a draft next year. It becomes an open lottery since there was no football season, and Miami wins the lottery. Even drafting Tua. Now, that would be fun, because now you can trade one of them. It's a beautiful thing. James Roman goes...
Wait a minute, stop.
James Roman goes, this show ain't for the ignorant.
That scenario you just painted, man.
Yeah, no, I'm.
That's like what?
That would be awesome. That would be awesome.
You know what? I think that would supplant every team that ever got lucky with lottery picks, making the right decision, whatever you want to do. Draft. That would be the wow.
No, it's Peyton luck.
That's what I'm saying. But it's
Peyton luck.
It would be on another level. You're talking about.
No, it's not. No, it's not. Don't say that because Peyton is a Hall of Famer. And then you got another guy that should have been a Hall of Famer, not going to get in the Hall, don't deserve to get in the Hall yet, but he is a Hall of Fame talent. We're not, neither one of our guys, Tua, if you win the lottery next year and you get Lawrence, Tua never played, so we don't know what Tua is.
You keep bringing
Lawrence
back,
never played, so we don't know what he is
yet.
You
keep bringing back the reality of the other guy opposite Peyton, and you could end up with the Ryan Leaf of the deal.
Exactly. But Peyton obviously is, one of the greatest of all time. Dean G, one of the greatest of all time, chiming in on a super chat. Love the show. Go Fins. We are on the upswing. The vision is there. Have confidence. Damn right. It's there, man. It's there. If it wasn't there, I'd tell you. And like that texter said, this show isn't for whether you're Asante Samuel, whether you're Manny Machine, or you're my man here, Richard McLean, who lives in Fantasyland and says, yeah, man, those guys will drop on our laps next year with no problem. Yeah, no, this is the kind of show that you'll be challenged a little bit here. The kid from Navy coming out of the backfield on screens with the option to pass is very intriguing, Chan's offense. And if he turns out to be a good player, who picked him? There you go. Just want to say. Okay? Because if you hit on a guy in the 7th round, right, isn't he like a 7th rounder? I mean, that's just ridiculous. I mean, what they found in Preston Williams, and I know Preston had baggage, and that's why he fell out of the draft. But still, they're the ones that took the chance on him, and it's paid off so far. I hope he comes back healthy. Look, I don't even know if we're going to have a season. But that is, Preston Williams for me is one of those guys I cannot wait to see. Okay? I mean, I love to watch that kid play. I was super intrigued watching him play and the way he developed. He has all the talent, and X is right. He has the talent to be a number 1 guy. And if you get the Navy kid playing ball too, and you start, that's the thing, that if you start seeing that they're hitting on talent all throughout the draft, right? Because Hey, look, listen. We know Greer can draft in the first round, right? Because 3 out of the 4 picks. And if you want to take Tua and Jackson, there's 6 now, right? Oh, wait a minute. Didn't we have 3 first-rounders? Who am I missing? It was Tua, Jackson. No, it was only 2 first-rounders, right? Am I right, Bill? Huh? Was it 2 first-rounders? Yeah, it's 2 first-rounders, Miami had, right? So he has 6. So far, Charles Harris is the only bust. But he drafted well with Minka, drafted well with Tunsil, drafted well with Wilkins, and now we'll find out about Jackson, and we'll find out about Tua. And then he found X, who's a first-rounder, in the second round. So we got a guy that can draft. You know? I love that. All right, 786-322-1105. Oh, Noah. That's right, Noah. There you go. Thank you, DFS Hobby. And Noah is a guy that my NFL guys loved. So there you go. And we'll see, man. I got a lot of faith in what's going on now. I never had faith in them. I got a lot of faith now. That's all I can tell you. All right, 786-322-1105. I forgot to tell you, Michelle Kaufman will join us at 1:30 to talk a little inter-football with her. So we'll have some fun with Michelle, and we'll get into all that stuff with her. Pat Mahomes. I don't know if you saw this, but Pat Mahomes is, I guess, not happy with everything going on in the NFL and where they stand. I saw the story yesterday, and so he expressed concern, just like J.J. Watt. And so here it goes. Pat Mahomes. Now, Pat Mahomes, about a month and a half ago, and this is like in the midst of negotiating his deal, and he's on cloud 9 and all that stuff. He goes, the NFLPA and the NFL are talking it through and trying to figure out the best way for us to go back and play the sport we love, keep ourselves safe, and follow the right protocol so we're not hurting anyone else or ourselves. I have trust that the people in charge will do the right thing and get us out there playing the sport we love and doing it the right way. Well, now he says, stuff is crazy, man, as he tweeted out, all this time we had, and now we're down to this. And that's because the NFL doesn't really have a plan in place at this point. They have not agreed on all the protocols, which, okay, rookies report on Tuesday. You would have already agreed on a protocol a while ago, and yet you haven't at this point. Your players don't know anything. Did you see J.J. Watt yesterday? J.J. Watt, look at his tweet yesterday, okay? If I can pull up the right screen here, okay? Here it goes. In the interest of having everyone on the same page in terms of what we know and don't know at this time, here are a few things I've learned being on 4 NFLPA calls in the last 2 weeks with hundreds of other players. Keep in mind our rookies are scheduled to report in 48 hours. Here's what we know and don't know. We want to play. We want to be as safe as possible. We have not received a single valid infectious disease emergency response from any team or the league. You figure you would have had that a while ago. We don't know if there's any preseason games or not. The word is the owners want 2 games, agreed, and the players want 0. Okay. We don't know if there's any daily testing, semi-daily testing, etc. We don't know how a potential positive COVID test would affect the contracts, roster spots, etc. Nothing has been agreed upon regarding what training camp will actually look like and how the ramp-up period will work. And then he ends it with, we want to play. Now, this is also maybe the NFL owners positioning themselves to make it really difficult on the players and try to force them to agree on something that was hurried up. And it looks like the players aren't going to fall for that, which they shouldn't. At this point, I keep telling you, it is stupid to send kids to school. It is stupid to have football. If you can't do the bubble thing, which is what I've been saying, I've been consistent as hell for a while now on this, basketball and hockey, they've got the shot to do it. MLS is fine while they're in the bubble. When they get out of the bubble, they're done. Baseball, done. College football, done. NFL, done. Niedermeyer, done. I'm sorry. I went in the Animal House. Anyway, so it's just once they get out on the street and they're able to go to the facility and then go home and they're going to meet with their family members and friends and all that, and they're going to go to parties and they're going to go to get-togethers and they're going to hang out with friends and they're going to catch COVID. They are. And then they're going to bring it back to the facilities and they're going to spread it to other people. I don't wish it upon anybody. Don't get me wrong here. But I have to go by what I am watching in America. And I'm watching a lot of people that are really irresponsible. And they're the reasons why we're where we're at now. We would all be back to normal by now, like Europe is getting back to normal, if we actually were disciplined and stayed the course. But since we didn't stay the course, and since this is what we're doing, look where we end up. It's sad, man. This is ridiculous. And the players, they're days away from the rookies reporting. The veterans then report about, 10 days from now or something? And they have no plan in place. They don't even know how much they're going to get tested. They don't even know how they're going to handle it. They don't even know how it affects their contracts. And this will be now, the thing about the NFL is they've never really cared about the PR side of it. So, but I got to imagine that in this case, they would look terrible if they're forcing the players to try to come back on because they can do that. If they don't come to an agreement, then they can kind of force the issue and say, hey, you got to do this. But then if you try to do that, the optics are going to be terrible. And there's a bunch of look, we got baseball players dropping out, we got basketball players dropping out, and the leagues are like, hey, no problem. Will the NFL allow that? And how are they going to handle that? I know that as fans, it'll suck for us because it always sucks when you lose stars. And that's usually the players that, the ones that make a lot or may have a lot to risk. Yeah, and some of the guys, think about the guy that is headed for free agency this year. Sure, you need to get on the field to prove that you're playing and all that, but what about if you suffer something in COVID and then that stays with you and that affects your future? Then what do you do? You know what I'm saying? So that's where this becomes a real, interesting situation and disturbing to a certain extent. I mean, to hear your players not know what the hell is going on and trusting in this league. Okay, so they handled the Ray Rice situation the right way, or Bullygate, or Deflategate, or kneeling a couple years back. Now they had to come back and say, oh, no, we were wrong. We were wrong. Black Lives Matter. We were wrong. We were wrong. By the way, how do you like my Black Lives Matter shirt, huh? Little Black Sabbath. Remember we talked about a few weeks back that Tom Morello was wearing this Black Sabbath shirt? It is from Black Sabbath. It's from you got to go to the Black Sabbath website to purchase it. So their album years ago, Masters of Reality, had it was this cover, this color, this font. So then they changed it to Black Lives Matter. And so I went and purchased one.
It looks awesome.
Doesn't it? It's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. I like it. I like it. I'm sure some of you will like it, and I'm sure some of you will rip me for it, I guess. Let's see. What do we have here? What else on the agenda that I wanted to talk about? Oh, and the fact that the owners now are in the middle of this whole thing where they want to get some games in, one or two. Owners want two. NFL players now want none because they want to risk as least as possible. and they want to try to get to the season.
Preseason, right?
Yeah.
Because you didn't say
that's what
specify pre.
Oh, it can't be the regular season, dummy. We're talking about 1 or 2 games. But anyway, so you're haggling over this, and it's all about money for the owners. The players, they don't get a lot of money in preseason anyways. They get like a stipend. Their money starts in the regular season. So they want to skip that too. They don't risk injury, and they don't risk COVID or one less chance of COVID. Obviously, they're going to risk COVID every day because people are going back to their houses. I did have a thought here that I think it's something that they can do, and here's an idea for the NFL. You can't do a bubble, can you? No. How about this? How about 32 bubbles? Did the NFL ever think of that? Would NFL players sacrifice like NBA players, like NHL players? MLS is doing it for a short time. But did anybody ever think of 32 bubbles? Where the players practice, they play at their stadium, they live in a hotel that they dominate. Nobody has access to the hotel except them. Everybody has a hotel in the city that they could walk up to. Hell, right now they're not making money anyway. So I'm sure there's a hotel in all 32 cities that would gladly say, take my wife. Take my hotel. I know Henny Youngman, it's too old of a reference. But anyway, so, right? 32 bubbles. That way players, and listen, you got to be away from your family a little bit. You got to be away from, and your family can visit. You know what they do? They go into protocol for a couple days. They get tested, and then they get put in a temporary bubble you have away in the hotel where family members can come and you can interact because they've been tested for a couple days, and boom, and then they can interact. If that's what you want, if you can do that. If you can hold out and you can just, call and do the Skyping, the Zooming, whatever the hell you want to do, whatever, bro. Why not 32 bubbles? You know what I mean? To me, it's not a bad thing. And you can actually make it pretty comfortable for each team at every hotel. And that's the only sacrifice, that they would be away for a couple of months. They would get the entire season in because there's 32 bubbles controlling each team. And you greedy bastards, I'm talking about the owners, of course, you get your money. I'm just saying, listen, man, I'm just some schmuck that does radio here, and I just talk sports for 30 years, and I just, spew a bunch of crap, and once in a while we'll have to rip Asante Samuel, but, I'm just giving an idea out there that maybe 32 bubbles might be the answer. It's up to the NFL players. Are they really willing to actually, now you take away the risk. Are you willing to make the sacrifice? Be away from life itself for just a couple of months.
I'm going to say that, we mentioned that on the show like a week or two ago. About that exact scenario, putting them in the hotels. Like act as if you're on the road. Now, mind you, the thing we had talked about was the fact that if you play the full season and you get into the playoffs, you're talking 6 months from start to finish because you start in September. You're looking at February.
Tell every player you're making it to the Super Bowl, but you have to stay in a hotel room for 6 months, and they'll go, where do I go? Right?
You would think.
You know what it is? Let me explain. It's the Dolphins season that just happened. At the beginning of the year in the offseason, 95% of you were like, oh my God, this is terrible. They're going to tear it all the way down. This is going to take forever. I can't handle this. They've lost forever. I can't wait anymore. And then what was I doing? I was like, yeah, this is freaking awesome.
Yeah, and
this is the way to do it.
You were talking about 0 wins.
Yeah,
we ended up with 5. You were excited about having no W's, bro.
I wasn't excited about the no W's. That was
no, but you were okay with it.
That was that was the end result that I was expecting. But I was loving the fact that they were going to rebuild the right way. And then by the end of the year, most Dolphin fans, I'll go back to the 85 or 90%, ended up saying, "Hey, you know what? The season wasn't that bad. It wasn't as bad as I thought." They ended up winning more games than I expected. The team developed. Coach Flores showed me something. We've got a high pick. Who knows? Boom. So all of a sudden, and players may, my point is, players at this moment, when you tell them you got to be in a hotel for 4 months to play your 16 games, okay? And obviously, like Bill says, 5.5 months, 6 months, if you have to go to the playoffs or the Super Bowl. But the chance of going to the Super Bowl, I think all the players at the moment, they'll say, "Oh my God, I got to be in a hotel. I'm not bad." But once they get through it, they're going to go, "Oh, it wasn't so bad, dude. It wasn't the end of the world. It was, we made the best of it." And you know what? That's how life should be. Because you're going to be thrown all kinds of curves, and it's your job to try to make it the best you can. I'm just saying, 32 bubbles might be the way to go. Now, I don't know if they're willing to do it, if they're willing to sacrifice, but it would be awesome. I'm just saying it. At least you have a chance this way.
You have to control the amount of exposure you have to other humans, okay? Bottom line.
Yes.
And the only way to do that is to sequester them and bubble them. That's the only way to control the amount of exposure you're going to have to people. That's it.
Leon Fresco has chimed in with a little super chat. Leon, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you as always. There you go. James Roman says Sabbath killed it with that shirt, didn't they? It's freaking awesome. Yeah. You can go to the Black Sabbath website. I think it's like $25. It's really not expensive. So
that's
it's
super reasonable based on a rock shirt. Man.
Yeah, man. It's a cool thing. So
that's like Pat Travers selling European shirts up in Boca. Okay.
Yeah, well, that was $10.
European tour.
That was $10. I took 2 of those. I said, hell, $10 for a concert shirt? I'll take it, bro.
And we were in Europe when we saw Pat Travers, not Boca.
Yeah, that's
at
right.
The Bamboo Room.
That Bamboo Room, I love that place. Let's see. That's actually a great idea. Most players would do it for an NFL paycheck. The fringe players will definitely do it. The guys at the bottom of the roster making $300,000, $400,000, those guys will gladly stay in a nice hotel for a couple months, get free food, get everything taken care of, and a shot to earn a check down the line, like a multi-year check. Yeah, they would do it. Yeah. Hey, man, the rest of us have to sacrifice to do all the things we do. So what the hell? David says, build 14 new regulation NFL fields in northern Idaho community with sufficient nearby hotel space for players and media. Play 10 games a season in one location, very few places to get in trouble. Yeah, that's true. Idaho, you can't get in trouble in Idaho. You're right about that. But I'm telling you, think about the money it would involve in all this. This would not require nearly as much money because hotels are already in place, your stadium's in place, your practice field's in place. All you need is the stuff for the protocol. But if every NFL team had a bubble in their own city, that they have their practice field, their stadium, and their hotel, and that's all they do. That's it. They have the buses that take them everywhere.
Right. Set up buses and private planes. That's it.
That's it. Nothing else. Every team can charter because they're filthy rich. Okay? Some teams have their own plane, like the Dolphins and the Patriots, and I don't know how many others, but there's several other teams. It's not just the Dolphins and the Patriots. Several teams have their own planes, except probably the Raiders because they're cheap. But outside of that, everybody else probably has their own, and also the Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals. All right. Enough talk about the cheap owners. So I'm just saying, 32 bubbles might be the thing that gets it done. I don't know. What can I tell you? All right, this time I'm going to break on time. And I'm also going to tell you about Murias Dental because you got to go to the website, muriasdental.com. Implants, Invisaligns, you need to fill a cavity. God forbid you got root canal. They are amazing. You need a crown, all of that. I tell you all the time, the Invisaligns, they'll straighten out your teeth. I've done it. The implants, they are experts, or crowns. They make the tooth right there and then. That's impressive. You don't leave with a temper and come back a couple of weeks later, 3 weeks later. And by the way, it's less trips for you, less time. Maybe you have to take away from work. They even have 2 days a week where they're open till 8 o'clock at night, so they can take care of customers who work later. That's why I want you to call Mudias Dental. Eric Mudias is amazing, state-of-the-art equipment, beautiful place, spotless. Okay, I'm telling you. 305-821-0231. That's 305-821-0231. Follow them on social media at Mudias Dental. Go to the website, mudiasdental.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
We back. And we take it till 2. Michelle Kaufman will join us at 1:30. So we'll have a little fun with Michelle, and we'll talk a little Inter. It's been frustrating, unfortunately, with Inter. Today, you got 2 games at 8 o'clock, DC United and New England. DC is plus 225, New England's plus 110. And then Sporting KC and Colorado. Sporting KC is minus 110. Colorado's plus 275. And at 10:30, Real Salt Lake is plus 165, and Minnesota is plus 150. So I'll be watching plenty of soccer tonight. I can't wait. It's going to be a lot of fun, for me at least, to watch that. Did you guys see, and, sometimes we get people that get a little crazy about the Black Lives Matter movement. Okay, this Black Lives Matter movement. I'm sorry if I go off mic sometimes. And, some people, like the president looks at it, at the organization, and to me, I don't care about the organization. I'm not donating money to them. I'm fighting for Black America. Okay? That's what I'm fighting for. And what I love about this movement is what people don't understand, that it's leading to others. Okay? And it's led to the Redskins making their change. Right? It's led to the Redskins being exposed as an organization for sexual harassment. It's led to the Edmonton Eskimos are now changing their name because the Eskimo Nation has been kind of insulted with all of that too. So they're changing. What I'm trying to tell you, and I've been at this the whole time, and that's kind of the beauty of watching what's going on is exactly what I predicted for several weeks on this show, okay? That I kept telling you what's the most important about the Black Lives Movement is that we fight for the rights for Black America, okay? And we're doing it for worldwide, by the way, because we know what's going on in other places. But I mean, I'm talking about our country at least, because, you know, we got a lot of issues. But I told you, and I said it every time, don't I say it every time? It's about the LGBT community. It's about fighting for women. It's about fighting for kids. It's about fighting for other minorities. It's about all of this stuff. And look at the trickle-down effect. And finally, we got the balls to actually fight for black people that are being abused and being killed. And now we're fighting for everything else that's getting in our way. For progress, for ignorance, for insult. Doesn't matter if you're a redskin, doesn't matter if you're an Eskimo, doesn't matter if you're black, doesn't matter if you're a woman. We want to listen. We want to defend. We want to fight for your right. And that's what I have kept saying this over and over and over again because it's a domino effect. And part of this domino effect fell on Chad Johnson's head, which is Chad Ochocinco. And we know Chad Ochocinco's a guy that clowns around a lot, has a lot of fun, was a lot of fun as a player and all of that, but he did something stupid. And he headbutted Evan Lozada, his wife then. And they ended up getting a divorce, and he ended up getting cut from the Dolphins. So over the years, Chad has mentioned that, you know, the mistake cost him and all that. So recently, he again said, you know, I made the one mistake and it cost me my career and all of that. And Lozada, and this is the problem in our world, okay? Then Lozada gets bombarded on social media from Neanderthals who say to this woman, because of this, you cost that man his career. You know what it is to tell a woman who was beaten by a man, bloodied, and then you're going to blame her for being abused? And you're not, see, that's the Neanderthal football fan, and there's a lot of you out there. You don't take anybody's feelings into account. You only care if your stinking receiver plays or your running back or if it's for your fantasy football team. But you don't care if they ran somebody over and they killed them, they had DUI, they smacked their wives or girlfriends. No, just get them on the field. And can you imagine some loser that actually is sending Evan Lozada a tweet that's saying, oh, it's your fault that Chad Johnson had to, you know, stop playing football? No, it's not your fault. It's Chad Johnson. I've been with my wife way longer than Chad Johnson's ever been with any woman. Okay? And he'll never have a relationship like I've had with my wife now, because I doubt it now at this age, he's going to be with a woman for 33 years. And in 33 years, I've never raised my hand to my wife because I don't have to. Because that's not what men do. Okay? Men don't hit women. You want a perfect example of how you handle, even if they get out of control? Go look at Jay-Z and Solange in an elevator. That's what a man does. He doesn't retaliate. He doesn't hit. He knows he's not going to get hurt. And she doesn't have a gun or knife on you. She's trying to hit you. He's holding her. He's trying to stop it. You know, whatever happened personally between him and Beyonce, whatever, bro. And Solange, that's their business. But my point is, Jay-Z acted like a man at that moment. Because that's what you're supposed to do. You're not supposed to, whatever argument you had, you're going to headbutt. What the hell is that, dude? So Evan Lozada, and I want you to listen to this, okay? Because this is a couple minutes. So Evan Lozada now took it to social media because she's tired of, okay, she was abused by this guy, and now she's getting socially abused by others who, of course, don't know squat. So here's Evan Lozada shedding light on what really happened between her and Chad Johnson.
So I wanted to respond to a few things. A few weeks ago, I was actually going to, discuss certain things and decided not to. But I think today is, the perfect time to address things that are on my heart. I woke up today to Chad's comment, and as much as I told myself that I wasn't going to respond because it's not the first time that he's made this comment, I'm just tired. I'm really, really tired. And for this man to sit up there and say that, he lost his temper for 3 seconds is infuriating to me. And as much as I'm trying to heal from this situation I've been dealing with this shit for years, not only because I'm on a show, just everything is just so public. So, as much as I'm trying to heal from this, it's messages like this, it's tweets or whatever the hell it was that are triggers for me. Okay, and for this man to say it was one incident, 3 seconds of his life, he lost everything, and then what happens? It affects. People read this on social media, and then are coming at me talking about, oh, you made this man lose his job. It's like, if you're going to speak the truth, I want you to speak the truth as to what the situation was, okay? It wasn't the first time. It wasn't the first time. And one of the things that I'm always going to do is I'm always going to live in my truth. Whether it's good, whether it's bad, whether it's ugly, I'm not going to let anybody take away my fucking truth, okay? And put this perception out there for a pity party as if you made one mistake, And I'm trying to move on from this, but as a victim, how am I supposed to move on? And I'm not looking for attention. I was at home, I'm minding my own fucking business, and then I have to deal with this, and it's hurtful to me. It's hurtful to me because I know my truth, and I have never discussed anything else that has ever happened other than the incident that people know. Because I always was concerned about his kids and our kids and always having to relive this. But you can't make comments like this and expect for nobody, especially me, that I'm on the other end of this, to feel how I feel, okay? And then when it comes to, Basketball Wives, I know that people tend to connect, my character on this show with what happened to him. And I understand that to a certain degree. I get it. I take full responsibility. I know I'm the one on this show. I'm the one that hasn't been the most positive person. I know I'm the one that has made us look bad, and I'm sorry, and I understand that I didn't always handle things the right way, and I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed, and I'm embarrassed sometimes for my family because this is a forever thing, but the person that I am on Basketball Wives and who I am as a mother and how I've been in my personal relationships, whether it be with Carl or Chad, are two totally different things. And what happened to me that day and other days, I didn't deserve. I didn't deserve that because I have always been a good woman. I have always been a great mom. I have always been a great stepmom. And for this man to make that comment today, more than one occasion, I have ignored this several times because I don't want to argue. I want to move on from this situation. Is a trigger for me. And I apologize to just the world and everybody just for not being the most positive person. When you were watching the show and sitting in the house and maybe saying certain things, and maybe at the time it was funny and it wasn't, because of everything that's going on, I know I have to do better. So I apologize for that. And for anyone that is dealing with domestic violence, you don't let nobody, when I tell you, you don't let nobody fucking take away your truth. You don't let nobody make you feel like you're wrong for being honest and speaking up about something that happened to you, okay? Let me be an example, because I refuse to let social media, I refuse to let the world attack me, because I have always been honest about this situation. I have never lied about not one detail as to what happened to me. So I'm going to leave this video here, and I'm sorry that I'm so upset. It's just that this is a lot for me, and I just want to heal, and I just want to move on from this situation. So if we're going to speak about this situation, we could talk about the truth. We could be honest, and we could talk about everything that happened if you really want to discuss it. But if you don't, then don't say nothing.
Wow. Okay? I mean, if you don't feel her pain there, if you don't feel the anger because she's being abused again and again and again and again, and she knows the truth, and it's really screwed up, because Evan Lozada was staying quiet because she was actually doing the right thing. You know that? Because really talking is also the right thing. Because other women need to see this so they can be, empowered, and they can come forward, and they don't need to take any abuse. No women should be taking abuse. Okay? But again, the classy thing, a lot of times when you have a family and you have kids and you're famous, even if you're not famous, but you want to kind of keep it quiet because you don't want your kids to go through that hell. Because remember, whatever happens to you and then kids go to school, kids are brutal. So then now you got to make the kids live through that hell. And they probably already had to live with the one hell of the dad headbutting the mom. So, the kids that they have between themselves already have to live that. So she doesn't want to tear this scab out and really let it all out. But then, because Chad runs his mouth, right, and keeps, it's only one time I did, and she's got to live with that. And then she's got the idiots that follow Chad, right, and then they go after her because they believe what Chad says, and she stays quiet. 15 women for the Redskins. They had to sign, 14 of the 15 had to sign a confidentiality agreement. Why? Because they knew something was going on. You got to keep it all quiet. And it's no, man. And that's why I'm telling you that the Black Lives Movement is important for all of America. Okay? And if you're short-sighted and you only think it's for the black culture, you're wrong, man. You're wrong. Because it's leading to all kinds of other things now. And what's wrong is being exposed. And Evan Lozada had to find the strength again to talk about this and talk about the pain she's suffering. And you hear the pain, dude. It's just, this isn't the river dance, bro. This isn't you wearing a little gold jacket on the sidelines, a future Hall of Famer and all that. This isn't you leaving a nice tip or playing video games with somebody. And that's all cute and that's all nice that, Chad, you do that kind of stuff. But then there's another Chad Johnson, obviously. And Evan Lozada saw that guy. And it just, to me, and I apologize, by the way, after the fact. I'm sorry. I did not warn you that there were a couple cuss words in there. I should have warned you just in case any of you had kids in there. But I refuse to. I don't have to because I'm not on radio and I don't have to go by FCC rules, which thank the Lord. I felt that I had to leave the cuss words in there. I needed you to hear and feel her pain. Okay? I felt that's the only way this thing needed to be delivered because it's what she needed to get off her chest. And by the way, Richard, dude, you are in a terrible role today. You put Ocho Cinco as having a subpar training camp on top of the incident. Dolphins were on Hard Knocks. Is that what you're going to focus on? Why would that even be brought up, my man? We're talking about domestic violence here, dude. And you're talking about, so in other words, Richard, if he was kicking ass, then in your eyes, maybe we could put up with a little domestic violence. Is that what that statement says there, Richard? Be careful what you send in. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, except for you, Richard. You may want to quit while you're way behind. Okay? You're not on a roll today, my man. You are sending in some really, really twisted stuff that makes no sense whatsoever. Make sure when you post that, put explicit language on it. All right? I should have done that. I apologize. I am really sorry. Let's see. I got a text that says poison, rat, and warrant. I guess that must have been some of our conversation from yesterday. Big O, you are right about removing that thing from the White House. He's just a terrible person. He's evil. Listen to the podcast every day. Stephen Pensacola. Thank you, Steve. Appreciate you. Deacon Jones, Reggie White, and Lawrence Taylor are in the Daryl Green group. Oh, and my top 4 bands of all time, Beatles, Rolling Stones, Queen, and The Doors. That's strong right there, Ron in Michigan. Nice job by you, sir. Big O, did you know that Noah was a receiver turned DB? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do know that about Noah. And thank you for listening, and thank you for sending in a text, my friend. RVA says, Big O, a lot of people were kind of let down because Snyder was directly named for anything wrongdoing. They want him out. Yeah, but it's his culture. So he's going. See, the one thing about this that we can look at, RVA, and say this is a good thing is he at least now is going to get a wake-up call. It's, hey, you got to change the name of the team whether you like it or not, dude. And, hey, you got to clean up the organization, and there better be real HR here, and we're going to be following up on it. So at least you put the runt in his place a little bit. You know what I'm saying? But I know in the end what's best for football, what's best for the Redskins, the Washington team, and the Washington fans is that he leaves. I'm with you. It's the Jeffrey Loria thing all over again. That's all it is. It's a terrible owner, and you're dying to get rid of him, and you just got to wait till he sells or gets the hell out. And I don't want any more. If we wish there were allegations against Daniel Snyder, then that means more women would have been assaulted. So that part is kind of twisted for me. But it's just, I know, man, I'm with you. I wish he was gone. But it just looks like that's not the case right now. Dougie Fresh says, what Finn's new old lineman do you think will be smoking the sticky icky, and who will be smoking oregano? I don't know them well enough to kind of figure that out. But I think a lot of them after training camp will be smoking the sticky icky because they got to test you before training camp. So they'll be clean for a while, for about a month. They'll get their test before training camp, and then smoke up, Johnny.
Big O helping the NFL players get around drug testing.
Not me. The agents do that on themselves.
Well, I'm just saying that, if
Agents have told me.
If anybody's out there listening to the podcast, you're going to have, NFL about being
One night, this is about 15 years ago, I was talking about that subject, and I go to this agent, and I said, let me ask you, dude, don't you guys prepare them for these drug tests? Don't you tell them, like, we all know it's coming in training camp? And he goes, you wouldn't believe how many times we repeat it to all our clients. We tell them before the combine. We tell them before training camp. We tell them way before, so they're clean in time for it. And we know which are our clients that smoke. And yet we tell them, and yet some of them still fail. And it's embarrassing for all of us, because then I've got to act like the dad and call them and say, I told you not to do this. And then you hear all this, weird excuses that they get. No, it wasn't me. I was in a car.
I was at a party, and they, and I was within 2 feet.
Yeah. All that stuff. They start getting all that. But agents themselves are absolutely livid with all that stuff. They freak out when these guys fail tests. That's how bad it is.
So for future reference, if you see somebody that's failed a drug test for the first time, especially, right? Because after you fail, then you go into that protocol, right, where they can test you anytime.
Yeah.
That's a different deal.
Yeah.
But anybody that has a first initial failed test, there's absolutely no excuse.
Yeah.
Right?
I mean,
bottom line.
None. There's no excuse to fail that test anyway, bro. None. When you know it's coming, come on, man. It's like when you were back in school and you got the answers to the test. Okay, you got to pass now, right?
Well, you got to be smart. If you're,
I get them exactly.
If you're a 75 or 80 score guy, don't pull a 98 or 90.
Yeah.
Man, miss, and you'd have to tell people and say, hey, man, make sure you miss a couple questions, bro. Because you're going to throw a light on all of us here, bro.
That's right. Yep. It's crazy. 786-322-1105 if you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line. That's 786-322-1105 if you want to get in. Let's see. Myron says, did you read the comments from Donald Trump's niece? Oh, you mean the one that wrote the book? Yes, I saw some of it. But, I mean, am I surprised at this point? No. I mean, from that guy, come on, dude. I mean, it is what it is. It's a complete joke. We're a joke as a country. What are you going to do? Hopefully we'll figure it out when it's all said and done, and we'll get a good president in there in the next 30 years. 786-322-1105, because, when Biden wins, that doesn't mean you got a good president in there. You're just putting somebody that's not as evil. That's all. That's all you're doing, My problem with Trump's niece is you knew all this and didn't tell before 2016. You know what it is, James? It's like the book that the guy wrote that was part of his cabinet. What's his name? And then he wasn't willing to testify against Trump. What's his name? I forgot the guy's name.
He just did the talk show circuit not a few weeks ago, right?
Yeah.
And, the dude with the mustache, blondish, gray hair.
Yeah. And look, I'm not saying that his book is a lie. It's probably there's a lot of truth to it. Again, dude, why didn't you testify? You know what I mean? It's like, if you got so you're only willing to do it for a buck, but you're not willing to do it for the good of the country? Get lost, bro. That's where that guy lost me. And I'm not a Trump guy, but I'm objective. All the way to the bone, dude. I'm objective. And that guy, he lost our credibility with me. You're not. So you could have testified and then write the book. Because in the testimony, you probably wouldn't have given everything. And then you could write the book, say everything, talk about your testimony and your experience with Trump and the testimony. The book would have been better. Am I wrong here? I'm sorry. Did I not describe it perfectly to a T, Bill? Did I not? Did I not?
No, because the fact of him doubling down and defending that No, I still did the right thing by not addressing Congress. Bro.
No, you didn't. No, you didn't.
The job of the three branches of government are to check the other. That's what they were doing. It's your responsibility as an American to do your job. You don't take an oath to Trump. You take an oath to us.
That's right. That's right. That's why his book to me means nothing, and I don't care about it. And he means nothing, and he's garbage to me. And I'm not a Trump guy. But that's not the way I play the game. I'm not doing that. I'm not falling for the banana in the tailpipe. No.
And that exact issue with Trump, that's one of his main flaws. He doesn't understand that you working for the government, you're working for the people, not working for you and your executive cabinet, Mr. President.
No, he works for the stock market.
You know, it's they think they work for the White House. No, these people work for us, the American people, man.
Yeah. So that's why it's hard for me to take these people seriously. Look, I just go by what I see and I just go by what I think is right and wrong. That's all. I don't go by what's Democrat and what's Republican. I go by what's right and wrong. That's all. That's it. I don't care about anything else. I make my own decisions. I make my own opinions. I pass my own judgments. I don't repeat what other people are saying. And then when you got like CNN, they got the guy on with the book and talking all the time. It's like, no, dude, this is why CNN, you have very little credibility. And this is why when you bring a guy on like that, you lose even more credibility. You know, because a guy like that, I would have roasted first and said, why didn't you testify? Because it's cowardly to not testify and then write a book only for profit. Disgusting. You are sworn to serve America. You're sworn to do what's right for us. And all you're doing is what's right for you? Get the hell out of here, bro. You know? So, I just, isn't it James something? I forgot the guy's name. Can somebody give me the clown's name? John Bolton. There it is. Thank you, Gus. See, I knew it was with a J. Way to go, Gus 1388. There, I saw it. He sent it in about a minute ago. Actually, it is 1 o'clock. Let's take a break. Hour number 3 begins. Michelle Kaufman will join us at the bottom of the hour. We'll talk a little Inter-Miami football with her. Back with more live from Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines right here on The Big O Show.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show. This is the Big O Show.
right. We take you till about 2, I think. We'll be out here at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. Come on out here, man. Great deals going on the weekends. You know, they're ready to make you a deal. RDX 289, MDX 319, TLX 239, ILX 199. Only $29.99 do-it signing plus tax tag and registration. They got financing as low as 0.9%, man. That's awesome. $750 off for military veterans. So come on out here to 15601 Pines Boulevard, just off of I-75 in Pines, baby. It is the finest dealership in the business. No better Acura dealer in the world than this one right here at Craig Zinn's, Acura of Pembroke Pines. It's a beautiful thing.
Wild guess here.
Yes.
I think it's going to rain, bro.
I don't know,
I'm
man.
just
I'm not
going
sure.
out on a limb here.
Not sure.
I think it might rain here, bro.
Not sure. I don't know. Looks like a lot of sun is trying to pop through the clouds right now. Tons of sun. Hey, it looks like we're going to hit by looks like a hurricane's coming, dude. It's doom and gloom out there. The only thing would be bright is if you're purchasing an Acura right now, and then that way you're feeling good even in the rain. But outside of that, it's you know what?
Feeling safe. Feeling safe with the weather,
it
too.
It got too dark for the glasses now, man.
It's just it's just a wall of black and gray skies, and they are coming.
Yeah. Oh, Lordy. Anyway, the other thing that came out yesterday, and again, we've been, talking about this for a while. Haven't I been telling you that the NFL has had this, publicly, they show you this naivete. Oh, no, we'll get to training camp, and we'll get to fans in the stands, and we'll get to practices, and we'll have games, and we'll have fans in the stands. Didn't the Dolphins, like a couple weeks ago, we're planning for fans in the stands? Yeah, you're not planning for anything, okay? And slowly but surely, you lost out on all the mini camps. You lost out on, the Hall of Fame game, the Hall of Fame ceremonies. You've lost out on a couple preseason games. Now players don't want any preseason games. You know what I mean? The owners are trying to squeeze out too. And now they're finally talking about, well, now we got to delay maybe the start of the season. Could happen. So the Dolphins put out that they won't be allowing tailgating. Shocker. Like, really? Okay. You can't go to training camp and practices in preseason. Oh, shocker. Right? We're only in Florida where we've got like 13, 14,000 cases now daily. We got 100 people dying every day in this state now. I mean, come on.
Really glad they clued us in on this.
We've lost 2,900 Americans in 3 days to COVID. Okay? I mean, the numbers are skyrocketing all over the place because we got idiots that won't wear their masks, which I took mine off when I was drinking water and I forgot to put it back on. I'm an idiot. Anyway, so all of this is going on, and now the Dolphins are putting out that you can't go to training camp, can't go to practice, can't go to preseason games. They're holding hope for the regular season. Yeah, it's like a running joke. Well, we're holding off for training camp, and we're holding off for Hall of Fame game, and we're holding off for the preseason, and now we're holding off for the regular season. And it's like, hey, let's get to reality. The world is exploding with COVID. Well, not the world, because Europe's better than we are, but North America is exploding with COVID. Okay, except for the Canadians, right? Because they're kind of responsible. And we're going to have training camp, and we're going to have people in the stands. Come on, man. I mean, and they don't, put it this way. They think that they may even have a shot to get people in the stands. They don't even have medical protocol going on right now for the NFL players. Okay? They don't have any. They don't have anything in place. They're about to start this thing. Rookies are about to report in a few hours, couple days, and they don't have any kind of medical protocol in place. Oh, yeah, no, they're really worried about the health and safety of fans. Are you kidding me? So, yeah, of course the Dolphins aren't going to have any training camp. And, for you fans out there, they're doing you a favor. Because those of you that would be crazy enough to go out there and sit in a training camp atmosphere, some of you won't end up wearing masks, so you'll end up spreading the virus to other people. Others that you're wearing the mask, do you really want to sit out in the heat with the mask? I mean, do what I've done for years now. Watch it on television, man. HD is a beautiful thing. You get to rewind. You get to watch everything. So, listen, they're doing you a favor that you don't have to show up. Because you shouldn't be showing up at this point. It's not worth it. Your life is not worth it. The headache is not worth it. Super Boom Shack dropping the big Super Boom on the Super Chat. Big O, my favorite Canadian bands are Rush, April Wine, Loverboy, Triumph, and Men Without Hats. Is it Men Without Hats Australian? Oh, no, I'm thinking of the
We
other.
found that out.
No. I was thinking that's not Men Without Hats. I'm thinking of Be Good, Johnny. What's
Men at Work.
Men at Work.
Men at Work.
My bad. So,
yes.
Men Without Hats. Who are your favorite Canadian musicians? Well, you mentioned them. Rush, Triumph, and April Wine. Those are my favorites right there. I love Loverboy. I got no problem with Loverboy. And Men Without Hats is a fun band, so I got no problem with them. But I got to go Rush, Triumph, and April Wine. I love them. I had tickets for April Wine in Vegas for a second time. And for a second time, my trip to Vegas was canceled, and I missed April Wine. I had tickets for April Wine a few years back. I was going to go for a boxing event. It was like 5 years ago or something. And I had the tickets, and I was set to go, and then some buffoonery with my station or whatever, and I couldn't go. So I missed out on April Wine. And then now with, it was the draft. The week of the draft, we were going out to Vegas to broadcast the NFL draft with hundreds of Dolphin fans at Tommy Rockers. And I already was going to go see April Wine also there. And then everything got canceled. Terrible, dude. I've never seen April Wine. All the other bands I've seen many times. Well, Men Without Hats I've only seen once. We just saw them. What was it, like a year ago?
It might have been a little bit over a year ago.
Right? Dania Beach?
Dania, Highlight, opening up for Howard Jones.
I really enjoyed that show. And I really enjoyed going to a concert at Dania. I thought it was a cool little venue. Wasn't it?
No, it was a great venue. The only thing is most of the stuff they do out of Dania is a cover band stuff.
Yes.
It's rare that actual acts, it's mostly cover stuff.
Yes, I agree.
But that was a great little spot.
Yes.
No doubt.
Yes. I agree. No doubt. I'm Super Boom Shack. Those are probably my three. And there's probably another Canadian act. Oh, Bryan Adams. Love Bryan Adams.
Actually, Last Tiger.
Yeah, but that's just one song. and Bryan Adams is actually sings the chorus in that song.
They had that other song.
Forget me when I'm gone.
Oh, Thin Red Line.
Oh yeah,
it was a nice little song.
That's right. That was actually.
And there is one more song on that album
you know too much.
It was there, but
I have it. I have that CD. I have that Glass Tiger CD. I got to look it up.
I have it in my compilations, YouTube. 80.
The only thing that I would add there, Super Boom Shack, is there's probably more that I'm forgetting, but I love Bryan Adams. Huge Bryan Adams fan. So I can throw Bryan Adams in there as some of my favorite Canadian Is
there an
acts.
affinity because you saw him when he was nobody?
I just love
that
his
first
music.
time.
But I love his music.
No, he's got a
ton of
all-time
hits,
songs. Yes,
ton of hits, dude. Ton of hits. It's actually really, really impressive how many hits he has. Okay. So I don't know, but I would put Bryan Adams. I have to. You know what I'm going to do? Super Boom Shack. I got to check out a list of famous Canadian musicians, and then see what is the list that comes up. Because look, Neil Young is there. Neil Young's pretty damn good, bro. I like Neil Young. Shawn Mendes, Drake, Rufus White, Broken Social Scene, Diana Krall, Daniel Lanois, Gordon Lightfoot. Did you know Gordon Lightfoot was Canadian? I had no idea. Not that he would be one of my favorites, but he's not a bad Cowboy Junkies, Feist, Arcade Fire, Blue Rodeo. Oh, the Guess Who. I didn't know the Guess Who. Did you know the Guess Who was Canadian? I had no idea. I like the Guess Who. Al Tuck, Katie Lang. What was that? Damn, what's Katie Lang's like really, really famous song?
Whatever. So
Constant Craving. Constant Craving.
No, but I can't find my baby. I don't know, and I don't know why she's gone away.
Oh yeah. No. But that's Lisa Stansfield.
It is?
Yes, that's Lisa Stansfield.
That's not Katie?
No. Been around the world
Well, then
and
okay.
I can't find my baby. That's Lisa Stansfield. Katie Lang is the one that sings Constant Craving. Ron Sexsmith, don't know him. Justin Bieber, you can have him. Bryan Adams, The Tragically Hip, Bruce Cockburn, The Band. Holy crap, The Band is really good, dude. I didn't know they were Canadian. Rush, Joni Mitchell, Leonard Cohen, and Neil Young. They don't have April Wine or Triumph on this list. Now, I don't know if you can really put a list together and not put Triumph. I get it if you don't know much about April Wine. I understand April Wine's like a little bit of an underground rock and roll band, right? So when people don't know much about April Wine, I'm good with that. But when we talk about, Triumph, if you don't know Triumph, I got a problem with that. The Weeknd is Canadian. Avril Lavigne. David Foster is a genius. Michael Bublé. Paul Anka. Robbie Robertson. Well, obviously, the band. Gordon Lightfoot. Carly Rae Jepsen. There you go for you. What's her name? What's that corny-ass song that she had? Call Me Sometime, Call Me Later, Call Me Never, whatever it was. Deadmau5. Just for you, Bill.
Yes.
Deadmau5.
Yes. Oh, you ready for this?
Chad Kroeger is...
Best song out of Canada. Take Off to the Great White North. Little Assistance by Geddy Lee in the background.
My man's parking here. How's he going to get out of the car? How do you get out? How do you get out? How do you get out of the sandwich? Does he have a can opener to get out of that car? You need a can opener to get out of that car. You have a can opener? You can't get out of that car without a can opener. Diana Krall. I don't know who else is here. That's a bunch of names here that I don't know. This is like hardcore Canadians. Katie Lang came up against Celine Dion. There you go. For you Celine Dion freaks. Alan Thicke. There you go. He was a great musician. Paul Schaefer.
Paul Schaefer, yes. Yes, that's true.
Paul Schaefer.
How about Sparkles from How I Met My Mother? How I Met Your Mother.
Let's see. Okay, you figured it out there. I thought you were going to need a can opener. Jessica Lowndes. I didn't know she could sing. Smoking Hot from the new 90210. You know who she is, Jessica Lowndes?
No, I'm not a 90210.
New 90210.
New, old.
New 90210.
Doesn't matter.
Oh, but if you saw Jessica Lowndes, you would not say that. That's all I'm saying. Okay? I'm just being honest. That's all. She's a very pretty girl.
I've never been one of those guys that like, oh wow, I gotta watch this because of what you like.
No, it's not about.
Look, Charmed. There's some nice looking girls. You'd be there for 3 minutes. Bada bing, I'm done.
Dude, I was a 90210 fan, so I watched the new one, and in the new one, which wasn't that good, I saw Jessica Lowndes, and I'm just saying.
I gotta say,
anybody that knows that new series, you know that Jessica Lowndes is.
I might be speaking for a bunch of our listeners out there.
Smoking.
Truly impressed with the fact that you admit to the fact that you're a 90210 fan.
It's all right, bro. I just freaking nailed Lisa Stansfield. What are you talking about, bro? Okay? Come on. The metalhead nails Lisa Stansfield. The name of the song, not the woman, okay? Just in case, because I'm married. Just in case. You people might get me in trouble there. Dan Aykroyd's family is 4 generations of paranormal researchers. Okay, I have no idea what that is. But again, you guys.
Speaking of, Dan Aykroyd is a Canadian. John Candy, Canadian.
They were on SCTV.
Is it Myers? Is it Myers?
Yes.
Also?
Yes, Mike Myers. Yes. 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 I'm with you. No doubt.
Is it just hockey players that come out of Canada?
Yeah. Yeah, I'm with you. All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, you can also reach out to us on Twitter. That's at Big O Show. Follow us there as always, because as you all know, that's a 24-hour talk show. Speaking of, remember I had some advice for Megan Thee Stallion, and you saw that she got shot twice. They didn't know who shot her, right? But apparently the person that shot her is the guy that was with her, Tony Lanez. And so now I think there's going to be video and all this stuff. This is a small-time Canadian rapper. He's had a little bit of success or whatever, but he's nowhere where Megan is right now. And whatever party you were at or whatever dude you were going out with, I will continue trying to give you the proper advice, Megan, okay? Please, I'm telling you, this is for all famous people. This is for all rich people, okay? I don't care what you do in life. Associate yourself with people that have as much to lose as you. See, because if you're actually really talented and you're really good, you would actually have bodyguards, and they would protect you. You know what I'm saying? That's what big time people do. So for Megan, hang around the right people, so that way you can have a long career, and that way you can enjoy a lot of success. You know what I'm saying? Come on, Mike, there. Anyway, so I'm just saying, if you want to have a long career, you know, it's really important, okay, to hang around the right people. Because if you don't, it's going to cut your career short. You're going to get in trouble. I mean, you're hanging around with some loser that has a gun and in an argument shoots you twice. I mean, really? Like,
you know what's hilarious? The guy probably was thinking, if I come out and say that I become famous, like forget charges.
Well, he's a rapper already.
Exactly.
As it is. He's already had some success.
You know what I'm saying?
He's been like on Jimmy Kimmel and everything. The guy's had some success, but he's nothing now. He's really not much. And he's carrying a gun. He doesn't even know how to use it, and he ends up using it on a woman that. And I know Megan has her hardcore ways. I'm just saying, you don't want to live it either. You can talk it, you can rap it, don't live it, because then that'll cut you short. Just, I saw that, and all it did was it reinforced what I said before, and I've said this for anybody and everybody that's got money. Pretty much.
I keep seeing Jimi Hendrix go, I shot her.
Yeah. Nuts, man. Anyway. Let's see. What do we got here? Oh, I don't know what you guys are talking about here. You got a whole bunch of things going on. It's a new show, paranormal TV show, and Dan is hosting it. Oh, aha. All right. Well, you guys told me about this paranormal stuff already last time. I just haven't looked it up. I really haven't had time to do any of that stuff. Like tonight, I'll be watching soccer. You know, because I gotta engulf myself in the MLS and know this thing inside and out. You know? But anyway, what are you going to do? All right, 786-322-1105. If you want to get in on the accidentlawfirm.com text line, that's 786-322-1105. Did you hear about the story about a shark attacking a boat and pulling a 10-year-old kid into the water?
No, but oh man, this is like something out of a movie.
Yes, exactly. Listen to this. Okay, isn't it Shark Week? A shark that grabbed a 10-year-old boy from a fishing boat off the coast of northwest Tasmania swam off when the child's dad jumped in the water to save him. Authorities said the boy was in a 6-meter fishing vessel when his father and 2 other men on Friday afternoon when the shark grabbed him from the boat. The child suffered lacerations to his arm, other cuts to his chest and head. The child from northwest Tasmania was this afternoon in stable condition in the Northwest Regional Hospital before being transferred to Langston General Hospital on Friday evening. Paramedics said the child was wearing a flotation device. Maybe that saved him too. Stanley resident and Abalone diver Ben Allen was at a nearby boat ramp when the party made it back to shore. He spoke to the witnesses and said the shark was believed to be a great white, but it has not been confirmed. Mr. Allen told ABC Radio that the family was cleaning Flathead on the boat when the attack occurred. All of a sudden, the shark leapt clean out of the water, and it grabbed the little boy and pulled him straight in. But as he pulled him in, it's obvious the shark let him go. The father, with his natural instincts, leapt in straight after his son and managed to grab him. Mr. Allen said the boy got something to tell his kids when he grows up. Now, it's obviously a freak accident. I really feel for the family. It could have been a lot worse. Buy a lottery ticket, I think, he says. A friend administered first aid, and the boy was rushed to a nearby seafood shop to keep him dry and warm until the ambulances arrived. All the boys said the shark was big. I imagine it was very big. It is renowned for this time of year that they do go in that area, he said. The boy is saying it was a great white. Mr. Allen believes the shark would have been in feeding mode. We have a seal rookery nearby. That's obviously where they are feeding. So the shark probably thought the kid was a seal. And then, I don't know, maybe he bit the flotation device. He's like, hey, that doesn't taste like seal. And then he let it go. You know what I mean? But think about that. That's some scary, dude, like who would imagine that a shark would jump out of the water and grab a boy? And I've heard of the killer whales doing that.
No, but we've seen it on Shark Week, man. They put out those dummy seals, and they breach the water, man.
No. But you're in a boat.
Well, that's a totally different. But if you look like a seal, you know what I mean? That's the thing.
Okay.
They come and get you.
So what you're saying is the singer should not be going out to fish.
No.
Seal?
Seal, no.
Seal should not go out to fish, according to Bill. Because if Seal goes out, he is at risk of being eaten by a shark.
If you look like a seal, you know?
That's also a problem. If your name is Seal or you look like a seal, that might be an issue. So, I don't know. I mean, wow.
That's why when these people, like, you go out surfing and you have, like, a black wetsuit on, man, with the surfboard, your feet dangling there, your arms dangling there from bottom of the looking up, you look like a seal to a shark.
All right. Did anyone who's a season ticket holder see Tua yesterday through video? No, I did not. Did not. Send me the link on my email, by the way, if you get it. See what he says. He doesn't really say much. He's such a good dude. You're never going to get anything controversial or anything, you know. He's just a good human being. All right, let's speaking of good human beings, Michelle Kaufman will join us next.
It's a buyer's market at Toyota of Hollywood. Over 1,500 Toyotas on the ground, and truckloads just keep on coming. Now pay up to 50% less. 2020 Camry, not $29,000, $17,775. 2020 Corolla, not $22,000, $13,775. Buy a new 2020 Toyota with 0 down and 0% financing, or we'll make your payments till 2021 at Toyota of Hollywood, the #1 volume Toyota dealer on 441 between Hollywood Boulevard and Sheridan Street.
Are you tired of watching the same old travel videos on the internet? Well, then check out MikeNoGoZones.com, a travel documentary that's breaking barriers. I go to the places that the media tells you to fear, where no one else dares to go. Baltimore, Opelika, South Side of Chicago, and more. Go to MikeNoGoZones.com.
No one expects to get into a crash, but I expect you to go to accidentlawfirm.com if you do. Make sure when hiring a driver, you go through a rideshare app so that you can be covered by the insurance, which can be up to $1 million whether you're a passenger or a driver. In other words, don't try to save a few bucks by paying cash instead of going through the app. I'm attorney Bobby Nunez from Nunez Law in Miami, and we're here to help you through the process. Go to accidentlawfirm.com for a free consultation from me, Bobby Nunez. That's accidentlawfirm.com.
America's safest and best-selling compact luxury SUV is at Acura of Pembroke Pines, and this is how we do it. RDX, $339 a month at Acura of Pembroke Pines, the #1 volume Acura dealer.
This is the Big O Show.
We're back. It is time to talk a little football, and of course, we do it every week with Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald, always kind enough to join us now to talk a little Inter-Miami football. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. Catch her exceptional work there at the Miami Herald. And before I talk about Inter, I got to tell you something, Michelle. I have been engulfed in soccer, watching it every day, all the games. And the last 4 or 5 days, we have had some outstanding matches. I mean, some great, even exciting ties. And I know that's blasphemous here in this country to call a tie exciting, but in soccer, we have seen it several times.
Yeah, absolutely. The tournament, especially late at night, it seems some of these late night games have been really, really good. A lot of goals are being scored, a lot of excitement, teams coming back. You know, when you talk about ties, a lot of times the excitement is that a team is down and it looks like they have no chance. And then, they battle back and get a tie, which is a point in the standings, which means you get a point in the standings. And that can be the difference between advancing in the tournament and going home. So I think it's really gone well. And in the last 4 days, they've done over 3,300 COVID tests, and they have had 0 positives out of over 3,300 tests. So, they're containing everything inside the bubble. So far, everyone seems to be healthy, which is the main thing.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, as for Inter, the frustration continues. It's 0-4, 4 losses, but all by 1 goal. So, for you, what do they need to kind of find that chemistry? Because I know they don't have a lot of time together, so it's really hard to expect that chemistry so they can find that consistency.
Yeah, I think in several of the cases, definitely in the last game, they were kind of out of position defensively. I feel like offensively they looked pretty good, and the goal that they scored was really a beautiful goal on a counterattack that involved 4 different players. So they did show chemistry there. I mean, you can see already that Rodolfo Pizarro and Lewis Morgan, already kind of are learning each other's games. They seem to have a lot of combination plays between them and Pellegrini. And so, they looked pretty good on that goal. I thought that's the kind of soccer that we were expecting them to play the whole season. So they're capable of doing it. They're not doing it on a regular basis, but the reason they lost, I mean, there are a couple of things. One is it just came out last night that the disciplinary committee of MLS decided to suspend the player from Philly that kicked Andres Reyes in the private region, right in the box. Had the referees called it during the game, that would have been a red card. It was in the 40th minute. He would have been thrown out of the game. They would have had a PK, and they would have had 50 minutes up a man. So, if you're going to play what if, that was a really critical non-call that went against Miami.
Well, by the way, the game before, we had to deal with the thug from Orlando and ended up injuring one of Miami's guys too, one of their better defenders. And
the same guy. It's the same guy.
That's right.
The
same guy. And then he should have been carded in the first half when he had 4 penalties, and that way maybe the injury doesn't happen in the second half for all of that.
Right.
So 2 games in a row where Miami's had to deal with this thuggery crap.
Yeah. The thing is, though, there are going to be those situations in every game. I'm sure every game has non-calls. Every game has fouls that affect the game. The difference is the winning teams find a way to overcome those, and Miami is still not overcoming those. And I think they got sloppy on defense. Honestly, there were 2 on both goals from Philly. There were lapses in the back where you just saw, on one, Will Trapp, he just flat out lost the ball. I mean, I like him a lot. He's a great guy. He's a good player. But on that particular play, on their second goal, on the winning goal for Philly, he just lost the ball in the final third, and they took it counter all the way down and scored on that. And, so I think the defense has to tighten up. I don't know if it's the players or the formation they're using, or I'm not sure what it is, but in that game, I feel like both goals were more, not that they weren't good goals by Philly, but both goals started with mistakes on Miami's defensive side. So that's something they need to work on. And, Coach Diego Alonso is very, tight-lipped, close to the vest. He never criticizes people or anything. But he did say, he was pleased with, he was pleased with the offense, and he was pleased with what he saw in the middle of the field. He did not say the same things about the defensive part of the game. So I think certainly that's an area that they're going to address heading into this last game on Monday. Their final group game is Monday morning at 9 a.m. against New York City FC, which has had a disappointing tournament. They are one of the better teams in the league, and they also are 0-2. So both of these teams are going to be trying to win their final group game and then hope and pray that a bunch of other things happen for them to advance. But it'll be very hard because only the top 2 teams in each group advance, and then the 4 best second-place teams. But I think it'll be hard with just 1 win, 3 points to advance. It's not mathematically impossible, though.
No, it's not. They're going to have to score like 400 goals. That might help if they can do that. It's really tough for them. And it's almost a double whammy too, because if Monday they can't qualify, then they got to sit a few more weeks and not get those extra games in, and that sets them back because as an expansion team, they need the playing time more than anybody else right now.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Think about how Nashville must feel. They got no games.
Yeah.
They're also an expansion team, and they had to go home from the tournament. So Miami's at least ahead of Nashville in that situation. But yes, you're absolutely right. Miami, the players are still getting to know each other. There are new players that, according to Paul McDonough, they're going to get 2 new players to, once this tournament is over, 2 guys are going to be signed, and they need it. They really do. They need a little more quality in a couple of positions to really step it up.
When you look at the players now, I here's a question I have, and not that that's going to make the biggest difference in the world, but why isn't Lee Gwynn starting? I really like him, and I think he's such a good guy.
I still don't understand that.
Okay, so you're not the.
I still don't understand. Yeah. No. Every time he comes in, I say, why isn't this guy starting? And actually, at 2:00 today, I'm on a conference call with the coach and 2 players, and one of the players they chose to have on the interview today is Lee. So, a good question would be like, Lee, why are you not starting? I'm not going to, we can't really ask it that way, but they are having him on a conference call today, which I don't know if that is indicative of anything, Mm-hmm. I don't know if they would put a bench guy on the conference call to do the preview for the next game. Maybe they're going to start him. Both times that he came in both games, to me, he absolutely helps the team move forward. I mean, he's a veteran guy, savvy guy. He's really good with the ball. I don't know. I still don't understand why he's not starting over a couple of the people that they have starting.
Yeah, I'll tell you, a guy that I hope he improves, but I haven't been that impressed with is Ben Sweat. That's one guy that I think has to pick it up a little bit.
Yep, I agree. And Carranza, to me, didn't look that great either. Now, it was his first game. His first game starting. He had played a little bit as a sub in the Orlando game, but he's a guy that came in as a young DP. I mean, he's a player that is supposed to be really good, young, up and coming player, and and he was so to me.
Yeah, no, listen, right now it is hard to be happy. The only thing is, I tell people you got to have a little patience because they're only 4 games in and they've only played 2 games.
Right, it's a brand new team. It's a brand new team.
Yeah, 4 months apart. It's we can't get too crazy about this. It is 4 losses by 1 goal, so we're not talking about a team that's being severely outplayed.
No, not at all.
Yeah, so it's a team that really. See the tricky.
They're snake bit.
Yeah,
they're snake bit because they've been in every game. They should have won at least one of these games, at least.
Yeah, I agree. And they've had some bad calls against them, which doesn't help. And since they don't have a lot of depth, when you lose a certain player or two, it really sets them back, unfortunately, because they don't have. I mean, I'm watching Toronto yesterday, and they've got Josie on the bench at the moment, and there's Akinala, just tearing it up and getting a hat trick. That's a luxury that Toronto has that Miami has not gotten to that point yet. And I'm sure that's part of those 2 guys that they need to bring on the international level. But even if you bring a guy from the international level, the team itself still has to find that groove, because even if you bring a star, that doesn't guarantee you a win in any of these games that has gone on.
No, and they haven't played together. So if you bring in a star and they step onto the field, the other players are not ready for, first of all, the quality. Sometimes those kind of guys, sometimes they are so good that they make a pass that they just assume is going to be received on the other end.
Right.
And the person that's supposed to be receiving it doesn't have the same, vision, the same experience, and is not ready to receive the pass. You know what I mean? I've seen it a lot of times where a guy who's really good will look across the field, see a space, pass the ball there, and then the guy that should have been there is nowhere near it, because that other guy is not as good as the one who was sending the pass. So, it's you can't just bring someone in, plug them in, and everything is going to be great. It takes time for everybody to learn to play with that type of player. It even happened with the Fusion, a million years ago with Carlos Valderrama.
That's right.
Carlos Valderrama would stand there in that middle circle, literally stand, because he never ran. And he would just see something and see a space and send a ball there, and sometimes there was no one there to receive it. And it's like, what was he doing? Well, no, not what was he doing. What was the other guy doing?
Exactly.
He didn't see that pass was going to be coming, So it'll take some time to build the chemistry. And, yeah, I mean, I think it's, a bit of a disappointment there was so much hype with this team coming in. David Beckham and the glitz and the glamour and the 305 and the beautiful, the black and pink. And, they built the stadium, and there was a lot of hype coming into this team, and saying that they're going to have star players, that this team is not going to have 1 but 2 well-known DPs. And, there was a lot of hype that so far has not been delivered, for different reasons. But it has not been what was promised or expected a couple of years ago, So I think it's been a bit of a downer, and they really are so hungry to finally get a win and to get things going in the right direction.
All right, let me ask you 2 questions here before we go. How much did you watch Montreal and Toronto? Playing off of what you just said, the passes last night in that Montreal-Toronto game. I don't know how much you watched of it, but the passes were
I only saw highlights from that game.
Well, you saw some of the highlights.
I saw them.
Yeah.
Oh, I saw the highlights, yeah.
Oh, my Lord. There were some passes that you can tell that's where Miami has to get to, that they have guys that have been playing together for a couple of years, and they know exactly where they're going to be. And some of those passes were just, I mean, they were awesome, man. They were fantastic. The vision was awesome.
Yeah, no, it's been really good. And the night before, the excitement with the San Jose team coming back from, they were down 3-1 in the 72nd minute.
The Dynamo
game.
And
that's it. You think, that was incredible. Yeah.
The Dynamo game that went 3-3. That thing was awesome, dude. That was back and forth. All right, the final question. Transfer window's coming now. What are you hearing? Because whether it's Cavani or whatever, what do we keep hearing here? Because transfer window is coming, and is the opportunity coming for Inter Miami?
Well, they've been talking to people, but everything I'm hearing is not encouraging so far. Like they apparently made a contract offer to Willian, who would have been a big name and a really good signing, and he's unhappy, but apparently he turned it down. Cavani also is asking for a ton of money that, I know that they've spoken to him and his representatives, but other teams are also speaking to them, and other teams may have more money, especially now with the pandemic. Miami doesn't have any revenue. They haven't even played any games in their stadium ever, so I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen. Paul is still very optimistic that they're going to bring in a really good, high-quality DP and a second player, also an international. He says he wants to do it very soon, like as soon as this tournament ends, to bring him in right away to play for the remainder of the season, and we'll have to see what happens. In the meanwhile, their USL team is starting on Saturday, by the way, in the stadium, in Inter Miami Stadium.
I know.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I know.
So
yeah, I want to actually go see it. I think I'll be able to sneak in, maybe. Who knows?
Maybe.
I may have a little
through the fence.
I may have a little influence in the whole process. By the way,
you're an influencer.
Have you heard our broadcast yet?
I haven't. I'm on vacation. I'm in Pennsylvania. Well, right now at the moment I'm in Frederick, Maryland, which is my birthplace. We were vacationing in Pennsylvania, and Frederick is right over the state border. So we decided to come, and I took pictures to show my mom. Like, we just went to the old apartment complex where I lived when I was born, and we're touring around the birthplace of Michelle Kaufman.
Nice.
Frederick, Maryland. So, yeah, I'm not even in Florida right now. But
all right. Well, make sure you tune in the Inter app and catch Whittingham and Rongan do their magic, which is.
I will. That's a great combination. I like both of those guys a lot. So I look forward to listening.
Thank you, because I'm the one that got them together. So yes,
they're really good. They're both really good.
They're exceptional. They've done a great job for us. Alex Dono and myself do the pre, half, and post. So it's
okay. I'm going to listen. I'm looking forward to hearing it.
Yeah, we got a really nice radio crew, man. I think the radio crew side is pretty cool. All right, well, you go do your thing. Enjoy your reminiscing.
Thank you.
And you're the best as always. Thank you. Be safe.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Got it.
Bye-bye.
There you go, the great Michelle Kaufman from the Miami Herald. Follow her on Twitter at Kauf Sports. What an ass kicker she is. Dude, she's vacationing. She never mentioned it. And I go to her, hey, can you come on so we can talk? And yeah, no problem, And it's like, look where she's at. And she takes the time, and she's there with Dave, cruising around. And that's just a great human being, man. That's because most people would say, hey, I'm off this week. I'm vacation. I'm relaxing with my husband, my wife, whatever, And it's understandable. I don't want to bother you while you're vacation. If she would have told me, I would have told her, hey, you know what? Let's hold off till next week. It's cool. I don't want to bother you in your vacation. I've done it before. I don't want to bother him. And she didn't say anything. I just want you to know that.
Weren't we joking about?
I just want you to know what kind of human being that is.
Weren't we joking about her taking vacation? Like, we're talking back when the season started.
Yeah.
And she kept getting postponed. It's around. This goes back to October.
But remember, there's no beat. You don't have to be there personally.
Yeah.
You only have to watch it virtually. And your press conferences are. She just told you in a little while she's going to be talking to Gwyn and to the coach. So it's all virtual. So you can actually do a little bit of life while you're actually working. Best of both worlds. And even talk on the radio with us, which we love it. And that's awesome. That's just absolutely awesome. By the way, did you see the story on Rachel Nichols? Anybody catch that? So Rachel Nichols, she is in the bubble with the rest of the NBA. Obviously, she does her jump and all that. I think she does an excellent job with the jump. I love her vibe and her enthusiasm for it. And so apparently she had somebody record her conversation in her room. She didn't realize that the camera was rolling while she was talking. And so they ended up recording her conversation in her room, and she was talking a lot about stuff going on with the ESPN, their coverage of the NBA and all that stuff. And so they recorded a half hour. Somebody in ESPN, they haven't said who, and I'm sure that's something they can trace and figure out. You know what I mean? Whoever did it is probably going to be in a lot of trouble for. And they sent like 5 minutes of it to Deadspin. Now, Deadspin did not post it because they illegally recorded her. And she's in Florida, which there's a law. I don't know if it's in every state, but in Florida, if you record somebody without their consent, dude, you are in some serious trouble. So Deadspin was smart enough to not play it, but they did report on it and said that the 5 minutes they sent them, there was nothing really, that you could have, held something against her. But I just, in defense of Rachel, and look, maybe there's something juicy. That's why they wanted to send it to Deadspin. You know what I mean? And maybe she said something juicy. I don't know, and I don't really care at this point, right? But I will say this. What kind of a scumbag are you that you're going to go out of your way to record somebody else to try to just get them fired? Or embarrass them or whatever it is. I just that's not the kind of... I mean, look, if she's a criminal, then I kind of get it. But what, if there's some gossip? That's what you're doing, dude? Or dudette? I don't know which one it is, if it's male or female. But, I mean, is it that bad in your life that you need to worry about what Rachel Nichols is talking about? I kind of feel bad for Rachel in a way. Look, I don't know what she was saying. Maybe she was saying something insulting about somebody. I don't know. But somebody recording it and then using it to try to embarrass you, I just, it rubs me the wrong way. It's so scummy. It's like I told you with the snitch line. I'd rather you not snitch. I'd rather you just go tell the person and then say, yo, I'm gonna tell these people you're being an idiot, just so you'll know. But I want you to know personally you're an idiot for not wearing a mask. You're an idiot for leaving the bubble and putting everybody else at risk. And that's it. But in this case, it's like, come on. Alexa, I got it. I will check it when I get off the air with the whole Tua thing. I appreciate you and Josh sending me the video. I will definitely check it out. Thank you all. Social media reveals who the snitches and tattletales are. Somebody trying to get Rachel fired. Yep, that's exactly it.
You know what, you think about it, man. There's a bunch of people that are looking for their 15 minutes of fame, and they don't care how it comes. It could be even bad, just to get out there and be famous.
But dude, if it's not criminal, what else could Rachel be saying?
Yeah, but that's the thing.
What's so juicy? What? Some executive didn't make a good decision, or they didn't cover this, or that.
They fired one of her friends.
Stupid little gossip about the place.
Exactly.
Who cares about that, bro? I mean,
but that's the thing. These people don't think like that. Think of all the stuff that we've seen out there on social media.
You're right.
That it's just, you could see it. This is simply done for you to have your 15 minutes of fame that actually ends up being like a minute or two. Plus, you make yourself look like an ass clown, but it doesn't matter. I got famous.
That's right. By the way, I'd be remiss if I did not mention Clee Torres. Thank you, sir. He loves his soccer. He loves his Michelle Kaufman segment, so he gives us a little super chat love. Says for Mrs. Kaufman, support local reporting. Thank you, sir. And then Steve M follows up with a super chat and a number one finger. Thank you, sir. love it. You gave me the number one finger, not the middle finger. I mean, I get enough of that. So thank you for not sending me the middle finger there, Steve. I appreciate you on that one.
That could be the number one.
It could be. Yeah, in some ways, you are
How about
somebody's
this?
number one when they give you the middle finger.
It is a one.
That's right. There you go. There you go. It's a beautiful thing. Oh, Lordy. All right. So I am, by the way, I'm back to fasting again.
But you're only doing it for a specific portion of the day, or are you doing days of fasting?
Well, remember how I'm not doing the biscuit anymore in the morning.
Oh, you're off? What?
Right. So I don't eat.
Dude, you wait a minute, man. This may affect.
So like I finished, I ate last at like, I think it was like 8 o'clock last night.
Are you the reason that those two Chick-fil-A's had to close because their budget got out of whack because you're not buying your morning chicken biscuits?
So I ate last like at 8 o'clock last night, and it is now 2 o'clock in the afternoon.
So you feel like I don't eat until we get off or sometimes during the show, depending.
Yeah.
You feel like me now. You're starving, right?
No, I'm not starving yet, actually.
No?
My stomach is now starting
You're on the shrinkage?
It's starting to now feel it because obviously from 8 o'clock till now, 2, and I'll eat something now and in the next hour. So that's, 12, 18 hours right now. At 2 o'clock, it's 18 hours. So 18 hours without eating.
That's pretty good.
I gained a bunch of weight during this whole thing, so I got to lose it again. And fasting for me is the best way of doing it. You just eat your foods in a short window, and then you stay without food for a while, and it gives your body a lot of time to burn everything that you ate, and that's what I'm doing now. So
see, I'm always been, because you also hear stories of the key is to eat a bunch of small
you can do
meals.
That. You can do that
because your metabolism gets used to
it. Yeah,
checking in. God, this guy's hitting me 6 times a day with food, little increments. And your metabolism is just constantly on burning.
I've lost that weight that way. I've lost weight that way. But my problem with that, and I don't know if you guys have that problem, but my problem with eating the 4 or 5 little meals, that means 4 or 5 times a day I have to figure out what to eat. And so I'd rather just eat 1 or 2 really good meals and just eat them all in a short window and then not eat for a long time, and then the body burns everything else. It'll burn your food, and then it'll burn fat. By the time you eat it, like right now, I've been burning fat, probably. I probably burned all my food already. So now what I've been burning for several hours now is fat.
So this is like some kind of semi-ketosis is what you're saying?
I don't know what it is, but I know it helps me lose weight.
When you're burning fat, not the carb thing, that's ketosis. And they say it takes 2 or 3 days for your body to adjust from carb usage for fuel to burning fat for fuel.
Yeah.
And but I guess if your body gets acclimated every day to eating one meal and being off no food for 18, like I'm sure your body gets sequenced to that, right?
Yeah, you're right. Michael Mata, by the way, chiming in on a little super chat. He says, what's up, oh? Sorry, haven't been listening to the show lately, but I do hear you on the Inter-Miami game while I'm working. May the force be with you. Thank you, Michael. I appreciate you, my man. Thank you for keeping it locked. And I apologize because I didn't feel I brought my A game in the last game, dude. I just didn't feel good. So I gotta bounce back strong. Huh? Yes, I need the force, exactly. Yeah, I gotta bounce back strong on Monday, and I will. But thank you, Michael. And for those of you, if you want to catch the Inter games, you download the Inter Miami app, and you can listen to our pre-game, half-game, post, the entire coverage, wall to wall. We have it for you, baby. Big O, key is to keep drinking lots of water and a soup here and there. Yes, I drink lots of water. In fact, this was full at the beginning of the show. So I will drink at least 3 of these a day.
Yeah,
at least.
Crazy drinking that room temp water, man. Can't do it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I finished that.
They say that like the temperature, I think it's like 56 degrees is the ideal temp to cool, and replenish your body fluids. 56. St. Leo's, where I went to school, the baseball coach had the visitors' water fountain in the dugout set to like 43, 44 degrees, so they would get cramps because of the water being too cold.
Robert says, if your heart rate doesn't increase to X, you will not burn fat. Robert, I will burn fat, my man. I've done this before. I've lost weight fasting. Fasting, you will lose weight, my man. Guaranteed, your body will start burning fat when it doesn't have food. That's just the way it is. It has no choice. It has to find somewhere. And so it starts to pick off your fat. So, yeah, I've done this already, in the past. And actually, the last time that I gained these, I think it's like 15, 18 pounds or something like that, I think. I've gained. So I've got to lose that. And you'll see, I'll lose it in a couple weeks. Well, maybe not, about a month. It's probably with fasting. I'll definitely lose it right away. I'm telling you, if you eat well in those windows, don't go crazy either. Don't go having chocolate cake and then 8 donuts and then, you don't do that in a small window. But if you could cheat a little bit, but, you have your grilled chicken and some salad and some soups and, and stuff like that. And, again, treat yourself to a little something here or there in that small window, and then you leave the large window without food. And you trust me. Yeah, no exercise, James. No exercise at all. So that's the beautiful thing of it. No exercise. You don't really have to exercise. Now, I mean, it's life. I walk around or whatever, but I'm not really exercising that much. So, yeah, you'll be fine.
So no getting on the treadmill and running 5 miles.
But you got to stick with it. And listen, fasting is not for everybody. Okay, not everybody can do it. But here's my suggestion to those of you that eat all day o estás picando todos los días. What you've got to do is go without eating for 8 hours. Okay, because a lot of people really don't go without eating for 8 hours. You're really picking something an hour or two later, 3 hours later, whatever. Stay 8 hours. Then the next day, or do it for 2 days or 3. Then a couple days later, add 9. A couple days later, add 10. A couple days later, add 11. Slowly work your body up to getting used to being without food, because if you're eating all day and then all of a sudden you want to start fasting, oh man, that's a really, that transition is going to mess with your mind.
Oh, you get headaches and all that
Yeah. Your body will not get used to it right away. So it'll be an adjustment. You don't want to go through that. A bad adjustment. If you want the good adjustment, do what I'm telling you. If you want to fast, it's the way you do it. And then you can build it up. And then you'll be surprised at how long you can go actually without food. It's pretty amazing how long you can go. Because you don't realize it, because you've got a lot of energy in your body from fat. And it can pick off that fat and keep the body going. You know what I mean? So you eat your food in a short window of time, 4 hours, 6 hours, something along those lines, 8 hours. But then the other 16 or less, you're not eating. Okay? Water, but you're not eating. Lots of water. That's one thing that, who was it? Who sent that one in? One of you guys, Robert, I think, sent it in, or Ramon, or somebody sent it in now. Water is definitely a key. You definitely want to drink a ton of water. That will definitely help you. Alexa says, just be careful. Don't gain it all back. No, I did gain some of it back. I lost a bunch of weight, and then I gained some of it I stopped fasting, man, because I'm in the quarantine. So I was home all the time. You know what I mean? So it's kind of weird. And we're all still kind of limited to where we go. I go out to eat or to work, and then I stay home, pretty much. So I've got to get back to discipline to, fasting again. And we'll be fine. We'll be fine. Super Boom Shack reminds me that cocaine works also. Yeah, it'll work. I'm sure it'll work, but my heart won't be able to take it, that's for sure. I'll be dead on the first try, my man. All right, it's time to wrap it up here on the show. We got to thank our super chatters, Robert Triana, DFS Hobby, Ray Grulong, Dean G, Leon Fresco, Super Boom Shack, Clee Torres, Steve M., Michael Mata. Thank you for super chatting.
Wow.
Recent research has shown
Super chat.
makes no sense.
Yeah, you didn't focus on all the wrong sort of details here. You need to forget about all the normal rules that apply in society.
Wasted no time. Super chat. I thought it was really, 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 really cool.
You should all be very proud of yourself.
I have no response.
Super chat.
That was perfect.
Yes. It's a beautiful thing. Thank you to all out there for downloading the show whenever you download the show, listening, watching, all of that, supporting our terrific sponsors. If you come out here to Craig's Inn, Acura Pembroke Pines, and you want to get an Acura, make sure you tell them that we sent you. And any of our sponsors you go to, please mention us. It's extremely important, okay? All right? We are out of here. We will see you tomorrow. No, actually Monday.
What's the situation?
Double dipping Monday.
What's the situation on Monday with the time because of the early game?
Yeah, it'll be an afternoon show. I don't know yet. I haven't decided
Okay,
yet.
so GBA on time, but we will be with you on Monday.
Yeah, we'll do something on Monday.
For sure.
Yeah. We'll
It's just the game starts at what, 9?
9 a.m.
Okay, so
that means I'm not done till like 11:30, 12.
So it might be within the 1 to 3 window we're thinking?
Yeah, 1 to 3, 1 to 4, 2 to 3, 2 to 4, 2 to 5. Yeah, something like that. We're probably looking at something like that.
Are we studioing or Inter Miami stadium? Do you know?
That's a great question.
2BA on that as well, folks.
You know what? No, I think we should do it at the stadium.
Yeah?
I mean, either way, it doesn't matter, right? Because if you're at home, at my house, when I get home, I get there, and then, you know what? We'll probably do it from inside the studio. Robert Triana chimes in with a late second super chat, bro. Thank you, Robert. You are a freaking stud. Hey. Thank you, Robert.
They don't want you to leave, bro.
Thank you. Thank you all out there as always, man. But, Monday we'll be on a little later because we're doing a little soccer.
I was just thinking about that, and I'm like, man, Monday. Wait a minute. Got to clue everybody in on what's the story.
Yeah, and Julius305 gives us a little love here. Again on Super Chat here. He's always chiming in.
Show no window for you, buddy.
Julius goes, weekend show? I don't know, Julius. Let's see if there's some stuff juicy stuff to talk about, then maybe I can do something on Saturday or Sunday. That's always a possibility, Julius. I can't promise that I'm going to do it because that's just not the case. If there really isn't enough material, it's just not worth it.
The NFL listens to the Big O show and figures it out, and they get 32 hotels in each city, and they do what we said they should.
That's right. There you go. 32 bubbles, baby. The 32 bubble attack is coming your way. You all be good out there. Be safe. Please wear a mask so we can break this thing, bring it all the way down, open every business out there, send kids to school, get life back to normal. But we can't get back to normal until we do the responsible thing, putting on a mask. Keep your distance. Don't go to crowded areas, okay?
Wash your hands.
Yes, and Josh chimes in now, also on the Super Chat. Thank you, Josh. Appreciate you, my man. Again, you guys are amazing.
Okay, who's next is keeping us here?
Josh says, thank you for an awesome show, and Bill. Appreciate you, Josh. Appreciate you.
Thank you, man.
Josh and Alexa, always big supporters of the program, and we love it, as always. You guys are amazing, man. Thank you so much. We'll see you on Monday, possibly on the weekend if there's some stuff, but Monday afternoon, we'll be back rocking and rolling with you all right? Be good.
Please
Much
be
love.
safe. Have a great weekend, everybody.